Red hot shooting, and they lead by 10. 67-57. Biggest lead of the ball game for Joe Dooley's ball club with 5:13 to go.
Jeff Charles having some fun with the call on Learfield IMG College. East Carolina wins at 82-73. And coming up shortly, East Carolina head coach Joe Dooley. We'll talk with Freddie and Fitzsimmons here on ESPN Radio. Another top 25 upset coming out of the SEC. South Carolina goes to Gainesville, beats number 22 Florida 72-66. And Pitt knocks off Virginia Tech in the ACC. In the NBA tonight, game one of a doubleheader on ESPN. Milwaukee with a 28-point fourth quarter lead on Indiana. And coming up after that one, Phoenix and New Orleans, 9:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and the app. Of course, Super Bowl 55 set for Sunday in Tampa. Bucks hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll get you caught up with all the pregame and set for action, 6:30 p.m. Eastern for kickoff in Tampa on Sunday. And in the NHL tonight, Tampa Bay knocks up Detroit 5-1. One other game on the ice tonight, and right now, the Bruins shutting out the Flyers 1-0. They've played one period in Philadelphia.
Coming up Thursday, I've said it all along that the Dolphins will be the best fit for Deshaun Watson. And we'll find out how Tua Tagovailoa is handling all the trade rumors at 9:15 a.m. Eastern. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on ESPN Radio.
Super Bowl 55 is finally almost here, and immediately after the game and the Lombardi Trophy presentation here on Sports Radio 810, we'll kick off the Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show presented by CBD American Shaman and Operating Engineers Local 101. We'll break down all the action, take your calls, hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Bruce Arians, all the Chiefs from the podium, even more guys from the Buccaneers side, and that all starts immediately after the Lombardi Trophy is presented right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Isn't this a sports show?
We're here for a one-on-one interview with our friend Travis Kelsey. Travis, I know you listen to a lot of Almost Entirely Sports. What do you think about Joshua Brisco and Beards McFly?
I mean, I don't think they suck. I can tell you that.
Thank you, Travis.
Almost Entirely.
I did the best I could. That's our new tagline. It's Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810. I did the best I could.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Hey, Beards, where's your Pokeball?
So Rudy and I have our Pokeballs out.
Yeah.
What?
Beards, where's yours?
Beards, take your Pokeball out. Come on, it's not as much fun if we don't all have our Pokeballs out.
I haven't bought mine yet.
Take the show with you by listening on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app at 810WHB.com or by searching for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
I love walking into a Home Depot and go down the wood section.
This is Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We have everything you could possibly want from Super Bowl week, and also the haircut that almost ended it all. Welcome into Almost Entirely Sports. Those are our topics of the evening. Everything you need Super Bowl 55 based. So much audio from the last couple of days. And we had no show last night, right? That was last night. It feels like that was a week ago somehow. Been a busy day, been a busy week. Will be a busy show. I'm Joshua Brisco, Rudy Salazar in the studio, Beards McFly on the other side of the glass. 3 guests for you tonight. We'll first, coming up next segment, talk to Mike Golic, which is always exciting. Got to talk to him a couple of years ago when we were in Atlanta for the Super Bowl. Got to talk to him again today, so we'll have Golic here in about 25 minutes from now. And then also Scott Graham from Westwood One will join us at 9. And then Ryan Tracy of RGR Football and Locked On Chiefs will join us at 10 to do some really sort of Chiefs sort of specific breakdowns. And really, honestly, we're just ending up with a nice sort of like diversified amount of Super Bowl previewing. We've got some fun, we got some silly, we got some smart. We're going to give you the whole smorgasbord here tonight. As always, you can watch the show in a number of places as well as listening to the show anywhere you want. Go to Facebook.com/SportsRadio810, Twitch.tv/SportsRadio810, or YouTube.com/810WHB, and you can watch us live. We have at least one visual joke in this audio medium every episode. That is our promise to you. When will it come around? When will it be? Who cares? All good questions that I don't have the answer to right now.
Now that you've pointed it out, we will absolutely not doing today.
Yeah, I mean,
That's how that works.
I said we always do it, and it wasn't really. I couldn't necessarily promise that.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, I think if we get to like the end of the show and we haven't done one yet, Beards is just gonna like moon the camera, and we'll go, oh, there it is. Ta-da! Is that what you wanted? Twitch, that's probably against some terms and conditions somewhere.
Probably.
But seriously, I mean, we've had just Chad Henne talk today. I mean, like literally every single person on the Chiefs active roster is going to end up at a microphone at some point this week. Today there was a lot. Yesterday there was a lot. There is a crazy story that reads like a horror story, and also there is a brief but important to me sort of pop culture moment that has happened today and continues to be happening that I just eventually have to be able to say the phrase out loud. Lil Uzi Vert got a $24 million pink diamond embedded into his forehead. He looks like Vision from the Avengers. I'm guessing he never got to the part in Avengers where, spoiler alert, never mind. Feel free to Google that if you need to, Beards and Rudy. I almost told you about it ahead of time, but I kind of wanted to just be able to say the phrase to you both. Lil Uzi Vert got a $24 million pink diamond embedded into his forehead.
I mean, here's the thing. We all know the Marvel Universe is breaking off into other dimensions. Maybe Lil Uzi Vert's just going to be is just preparing for his role as like Vision from a different Earth.
Somebody tweeted, because whenever I tweeted about it, someone responded with, oh, cool, he found the Stupidity Stone. And that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'm also kind of here for it, except it's already started, like, at least once today. He's tweeted out a video or something on some social media, posted a picture of it where it is definitely leaking blood down his nose because it's embedded into his flesh. It's a whole deal.
What? Like that? Like that's gonna be breaking all kinds of like.
Rudy,
I don't know exactly.
Hey, Rudy. You are. I can see the wheels turning. I can hear this from you. You're asking questions that like a human being that doesn't want to embed a diamond into their forehead would ask.
But this isn't even a Lil Uzi Vert thing. It's just like, can't you lose like your medical license if you're there's no way this is like something a doctor is allowed to do, right?
You know, if Tom Brady can allegedly get a jaw implant, why can't Lil Uzi Vert get a diamond implant, huh?
Well, because it's near his brain.
It's insane. And this, I just am putting a pin. Let's put a diamond in that.
Okay.
And let's circle back around that. I just needed to mention at the front of the show that that's something that we're going to have to discuss in more depth later.
I mean, I'm not here to tell somebody how to spend their money. You do you. I'm more just curious, like, can a doctor go to jail for this?
A lot of logistical questions. That I hope we can answer at some point.
If there's a doctor listening, comment on comment on whatever channel you would like to watch us on and let us know, like, hey, did this doctor break a law?
Something. I mean, there's some law of humanity was broken by that today. And also, dead serious, that's not the craziest story that I saw today. The legitimate craziest story that I saw today is about the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not even doing this on a Chiefs scale. I'm not even doing this on a Kansas City scale or a Kansas City Sports Talk Radio scale. I genuinely believe that what happened to the Chiefs, we got the details from the Chiefs here, is more wild than a rapper getting a $24 million diamond embedded into his forehead like Vision from the Avengers.
Darth Maul Dad points out that people do get horns implanted in their head, so I guess this isn't, it's not really different.
What'd you say his name was?
Darth Maul Dad.
So does he have horns implanted in his head?
Well, he's Darth Maul's dad.
His kid does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I mean, he could, but my guess is his kid did it. Like,
well, I'm assuming those aren't from his mom's side.
I mean, I think his kid did it in like a rebellious phase.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking also.
Like, he told him to eat his vegetables, and then he was like, screw you, Dad, and then came back the next day
and then he
horns.
stuck the carrot in his head.
Why can't listen? I didn't want to have this full conversation right now because I would really like to. I mean, you read a comment that was totally unnecessary, and then Beard sunk in on it. And now we're back at this point again. This still been better.
By the way, how's the camera framed?
Great, it looks beautiful.
Z-Man on Twitch also says 810 Radio is definitely the hottest dudes on Twitch.
Easy. I would say we make up 3 of the top 5 minimum. 2 of the top 5. Ooh, who did he leave out? I don't know.
Rudy.
I don't see. That's the joke. That's right there.
Is that the joke? Cause
yeah,
Josh, we know.
I'm sorry, Josh. We know it's you. I'm sorry.
I'll take top 7. Twitch is a big place.
It's a very big place.
Beards might have a top 10 beard on Twitch. That's possible. I'd say there's a chance of that.
Mm-hmm. It's possible.
None of the Lil Uzi Vert story is the most bonkers story today. Because here's the most bonkers story today. Here's a tweet from Adam Schefter. This story is now multifaceted in a way that I'm going to have a hard time getting you all the details on in one segment because it's that widespread. But here's the Schefter tweet that honestly reads like a horror story. The more I read it, the more terrified I am of the alternate reality where this did not get better. There were over 20 Chiefs players and staffers, including quarterback Patrick Mahomes, scheduled Sunday to get a haircut with the barber who tested positive for COVID, per sources. The Chiefs acted wisely and aggressively and pulled the barber mid-cut once his test results came in. Now, I've also seen conflicting reports that Chiefs center Daniel Kilgore, who has since tweeted out a new profile picture that I believe to be photoshopped, but is very funny.
It's photoshopped. Also, can I point, or can I just like
in the middle of my sentence would be great. Yeah, for sure.
I was going to talk about the tweet.
Sure.
Do you want a Darth Maul dad update while we're here?
No! Yes, Rudy.
So the whole thing was the Chiefs acted smart and swiftly by removing him.
Mm-hmm.
Did people think they were going to let him continue to cut the hairs?
Well,
players?
enter Daniel Kilgore. For those wondering, says Schefter, being that Chiefs center Daniel Kilgore already was sitting in the barber chair and deemed a close contact, he told the barber to finish, and he did. But this is the makings to become the first touch of gray endorsement to come out of Super Bowl week. More details on this over the scope of it here, and I'm now not even sure who. Those are both Schefter tweets. At one point, I think it may have been a Tom Pelissero joint that was pointing out the fact that, like, this dude got tested. This barber got tested. Beards, can you get the barber, please? One of you guys please get the barber on the phone? I'd love to talk to him.
I don't need a haircut. I just got one recently.
Well, it looks bad, and you need another one. And also, I'd like him on the show to talk about if he could install a diamond in my forehead.
You're wanting the barber to do that?
Yeah. It's like old school, like how the barbers and we're also the doctors. They got razor blades.
You can put it in your
stuff.
hair, like do like a design with your hair that just like
that also works.
Thread diamonds in your hair.
Yeah, that sounds great.
You got the money for that?
It'll match my grill that I do have. Visual joke, audio medium. We got it.
Go.
But so, I mean, this barber apparently got tested a ton. And at the very least, him doing this on Sunday, I guess, kind of allows for them to have had a close contact and then still have these dudes be available to play. But even imagine that this entire week, if Patrick Mahomes is in that chair next, whenever that positive test came back, from all angles I can tell, the Chiefs were not kind of happy-go-lucky throughout this process. Like, this was a pretty sort of stringent testing procedure for the barber, who ended up testing positive anyway. But imagine if Patrick Mahomes is in that seat. Even if you say close contact, he's clear, he's going to be on the plane, it'll be fine. This entire media week, Chad Henne would have talked every bleeping day for an hour. Patrick Mahomes would not have been on the practice field getting ready for Tampa. That would have been a legitimately huge issue. What if he gets all the way through the haircuts and then they find out that the barber was a close contact? You're talking about 20 players and staffers, including Patrick Mahomes? 20. Let's say that half of those are staffers. You could have. I'm guessing it wasn't a bunch of top-level stars because I think it probably would have made the tweet from Schefter. But you got Patrick Mahomes and then half of the already bludgeoned offensive line who were trying to get a tight little touch-up there. And then all of a sudden, whoopsie-doodle, now we're all preparing for a high school offensive line and Chad Henne to play in the Super Bowl?
I mean, we could just go through the roster and figure out, like, by looking at the pictures, who wouldn't have been there because they've got, they're either bald or they have very short hair. We wouldn't have to worry about this.
I wouldn't have put Dan Kilgore on that list, though, by that logic, honestly, Beards. I don't know.
Kelsey, we would have had to worry about.
Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely. He wants to be looking fresh for sure. Mahomes for sure.
Yes.
You got to get those edges figured out right there. You got to.
Is Garrett Dieter still on this team?
Yeah, and not on the active roster, but he's on the roster. I think he's on the practice squad probably.
If Mahomes was there, Dieter was there.
Yeah. And they just basically get the same haircut
Just one after the other.
It's just Dieter should have been in that State Farm commercial.
Well, he's the one that the barber tests on first to make sure that he still got it.
That's
because
good.
then you don't want to mess Mahomes up and then get Dieter perfectly. You have to make sure you get Mahomes done correctly.
It's just think about there was a tweet. I don't remember who it was from because I never remember who tweets are from. But there was a tweet about Jared Goff and how I think there were 2 long bombs that were barely incomplete in the Super Bowl. I don't remember any of this myself, honestly. But one of them, I think, was a miss, and then one of them, like, Brandon Cooks dropped. Or somebody dropped this long pass to the Super Bowl that very well could have ended with the Rams winning that Super Bowl. And you say, well, if that dude catches that pass, then Jared Goff is probably still a Ram. Matt Stafford's probably going somewhere else. Maybe he's in San Francisco or whatever.
Which
and
we
Goff
haven't
continues.
talked about that,
Haven't even talked about it. Goff continues to, like, double and triple down in L.A. Maybe he's their Kirk Cousins. But you know what? Jared Goff won a ring, but he didn't for 1 play, 2 plays in a low-scoring, small margin for error game.
Poo-poo game.
In a bit of a poo-poo game.
It was a poo-poo game.
You're talking about changing, one line of code. One Tetris block falls slightly differently, and that's the difference between Jared Goff being, the god of Los Angeles for a decade because he won a ring, and being out of there a few years later for Matt Stafford, who has been pretty good on pretty bad teams for a pretty long time. Think about the one Tetris block that falls differently in this story, where even if they all play, even if they all clear, even if the barber doesn't give any of them COVID, the entire week fundamentally changes because they're on lockdown because 20 dudes, including Patrick Mahomes, are on the COVID close contact list because of their barber that the Chiefs brought in and tested like 5 times, and then test number 6 came back positive. That is so... You want to talk about Marvel's multiverse? We are not many multiverses away from the Super Bowl is derailed by the COVID barber of Fleet Street. That barber automatically becomes the most terrifying barber in real life or fiction. Sweeney Todd out.
I don't know. Sweeney Todd
out. You know what Sweeney Todd did to me? Nothing. Is that based on a true story? Is that like a Jack the Ripper thing? Will you Google that?
Know.
I'd love to find out about that. I do not stay up at night staring at my ceiling wondering if Sweeney Todd is going to come through the door. I will stare at my ceiling tonight and think about how close the Chiefs got to being shorthanded for the Super Bowl because of a COVID barber. It's just one of the most absolutely nonsense, total streak of good luck or bad luck, absolute randomness. They put the testing protocol through its paces. They brought someone in because they had explicitly, this was a report a week ago, they explicitly said, yo, this week, these 2 weeks, do not go to a barber, do not go pick up food from a restaurant, do not let anyone in your family go to the grocery store. You live in a bubble because it is Super Bowl week. We will bring you a barber. I'm sure they would have. I am sure that you could have gotten the Chiefs intern who tested negative 15 consecutive times to bring you a good sense sub if you needed it. But they bring the barber into the building and they have COVID.
I could use a good sense sub right about now.
Sweeney Todd is not based off anybody real. People have claimed it, but it's always been debunked, and it's kind of like an urban legend.
Did I get it right saying Fleet Street? Is the Demon Barber of Fleet Street?
Yes, Demon Barber of Fleet Street. I know that, not because of actually like Sweeney Todd, the book, because it's based off of a book, the musical is. That was written a while ago.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I know the musical was, okay.
I do not know it from the book or from the musical. I guess you could say I know it from the musical. I know it from The Office, because I've seen that episode like 20 times.
I at some point,
I might know all the words to the songs. It's possible. If the music just started playing, I might know the words just because I've heard Andy sing the song a billion times at this point.
Demon Barber of Fleet Street, huh?
Fleet Street.
More like the COVID Barber of Fleet Street.
I knew you were going.
Ha ha! Wow, that joke stunk.
I thought it was pretty good.
That was not funny.
I liked it.
I didn't. I might have liked it better if you didn't like get there at the same time as me. Like it was that telegraphed, like that. It made me second guess it. Here's a story from Tom Pelissero on NFL.com. We may be belaboring the point here. We'll get to other stuff, including like Golic and then a bunch of Chiefs audio in a few minutes. I just would like to drag this point into the ground for a second because I'm still not sure that some of you understand how buck wild this is. A barber
the
who
Rams don't have first round picks for 7 years.
That's what I meant. Yes, and Matt Stafford really, I think, overvalued. I don't know. I think it's fine. Whatever. A barber who recently cut the hair of 2 Chiefs players received a positive test result for COVID-19 on Sunday, per sources, leading to receiver DeMarcus Robinson and center Daniel Kilgore landing on the reserve COVID-19 list Monday, 6 days before Super Bowl 55. Neither Robinson nor Kilgore has tested positive, and all parties were masked during the encounters, lowering the chance of transmission. Thank you, Tom, for the little COVID. Thank you for maybe teaching some people about wearing the masks. Sources say. Part of that was parenthetical. You have to guess which part. But given the duration and proximity, both were deemed high-risk, close contacts of the barber and had to be placed on the reserve COVID-19 list. They can both travel. The Chiefs aren't traveling till Saturday. Sources say the barber tested negative 5 consecutive days before he was allowed to enter the Chiefs' facility, including a Saturday PCR test that came back negative Sunday. The barber took an additional rapid test as a precaution before entering the facility Sunday, but the results were delayed briefly because of a line of friends and family also getting tested. He was wearing double PPE, personal protective equipment, and was still cutting Kilgore's hair, the first in a line of players waiting for haircuts, when the positive result came back. The barber was immediately removed. In a follow-up interview with NFL officials, the barber said he'd also cut Robinson's hair the previous day away from the facility. The NFL sent out a memo on December 18th saying that non-club service providers such as barbers, personal chefs, chiropractors, masseuses, and stretching assistants who are employed by individual players frequently contribute to positive cases and are strongly encouraged clubs to have them tested prior to performing services. Listen, there are plenty of people who have been like, well, you have to get a haircut before the Super Bowl. Look, man, I mean, if you win the Super Bowl and you're on the podium, it's the biggest moment in your life. You want your hair to look good, whatever, that's fine. I get it. Also, like, yeah, it's the COVID year, and maybe everybody just needs to grow their hair out over the course of these 2 weeks and kind of live with the results. That's what most of us have been doing for the majority of this year. Totally get it. But, like, the Chiefs put him through 5 consecutive days of negative tests. And did I get 4 tests, including the 5th one being the Saturday PCR test, and an additional rapid test before going in on Sunday. It's just whatever strand of COVID the barber has is the one that we should be afraid of, because now it's sneaky. We've got stealth mission COVID now, and that's not good for anybody. Just crazy. Just absolutely nonsense. I don't know. There's a very real chance that I'm having a reaction to this that not everyone is having, and I'm just... The whole Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes was going to get his haircut by this guy. The whole Super Bowl ended up teetering on when that rapid test came back and the fact that he started with Daniel Kilgore. Listen, if I'm Patrick Mahomes or anyone, God bless Dan Kilgore, right? I would love to talk to him about this for the rest of the time. He's also was a good player when he was playing, and God forbid Austin Ryder gets hurt and Dan Kilgore goes in on Sunday, I'm going to feel good about it. But Daniel Kilgore is the backup center. If I am Patrick Mahomes or any starter lining up, hopefully not literally, right? There's no way they're just waiting, because that would have taken a long time. I'm guessing that line is figurative. If we're lining up for haircuts and Daniel Kilgore is first to go, I'm probably saying, look, hey man, can I hop in real quick? I got 97 media obligations to do, and you're probably not going to have to this week because you're the backup center. Can I hop in one time? If it starts with Patrick Mahomes, even if he just goes first, apparently Robinson was a previous location, whatnot, or the day prior. If Patrick Mahomes gets his hair cut first, he is not in the media obligations this week. He is not on the field in practice this week. He is not officially cleared until the day they're leaving, or maybe the day prior. It's unbelievable. It is balancing on a knife's edge. Also, I believe that the barber was paid by Tom Brady to get COVID and fake his tests and then sneak into the facility and attempt to infect Patrick Mahomes. That has not been reported by Schefter, Pelissero, anyone, anywhere.
Beers, play a disclaimer.
Go ahead. Yeah, Beards, go ahead and play the disclaimer. It's in your voice, but go ahead and play it. The disclaimer that you have recorded in the system.
What is this disclaimer to say? I gotta look for it.
It's that the views expressed by Joshua B. Brisco on Twitter at JB Brisco without an E did not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Let's see.
It should be in there. I can see your, yeah. Go ahead and just click that one.
810 denies knowing Joshua Brisco. We don't know this guy or anything that he does.
No E.
Who is he?
I'll take that. That's probably fine.
He has an E.
Here's the issue, I think, is if you put an E at the end of that, it's no longer legally binding. You're talking about somebody else. You're distancing yourself from some other Josh Brisco E. So you either have to acknowledge that I'm real, or you have to acknowledge how to spell my name the right way. You can't zag on both of those.
Just watch me.
It's unbelievable, man. This story is absolutely crazy, and things seem to have gone through relatively clearly.
Andrew on Twitter asks would the barber be as hated as Steve Bartman was if Mahomes and a bunch of other players had missed the Super Bowl?
Steve Bartman.
Barberman.
That's what I was going for. I think you probably did it better. You want to try one, Rudy?
I don't really got one. I was looking at a Facebook comment.
You want to read it? We'll take a Facebook comment.
Yeah, so I'll start because it's kind of a line of comments. Michael asks...
Chaotic Warrior points out that dermals are a thing. You can get piercings like screwed into your hip bones and stuff. That's a good point.
Michael on Facebook, though, on the AS Facebook points out, basically he just asked, hey, what's everybody making to eat for the Super Bowl? I am smoking a pork butt, which is funny, and smoked wings. What really got me, though, is Sean Keeby says, and again, this is just like me and Mick have talked about this before, and this is just I don't know where Sean is from, but I know where Sean is from. He's having white chicken chili and homemade cinnamon rolls, and nothing screams small town Kansas like chili and cinnamon rolls.
God, I love a white chicken chili, and I love cinnamon rolls.
I had white chicken chili at my dad's house the other week or two ago. Whew.
This is not an ad, and I know we love talking about chicken places. There's Strips in Olathe. You got to be pretty close to this, I think, Rudy, where you live. Strips in Olathe, they have basically the KFC famous bowl, but it's made like with good ingredients and it tastes good. But you can either get it topped with white gravy, which is delicious, or their white chicken chili.
Oh, man.
Yeah, dude. And that bowl, you eat half of it, put it in the fridge, and lie to yourself and still save it till tomorrow. You'll eat it 3 hours later, but it's going to be so good twice.
That sounds amazing.
A couple of things. One from Brady on YouTube says, "Oh, so weird to look at you all after all this time listening on the pod." Yeah, there's a chance you've never seen us before, and this is what we look like. 3 of the 5 hottest dudes on Twitch.
A lot of pork butts are being smoked for the Super Bowl.
Anyway.
Now, the pork butt is actually the shoulder, correct?
I think that's right.
Yeah, and I think a pork shoulder is actually a pork butt.
Also, several people have mentioned, I also haven't seen this, so I think this is a totally fair point, that his positive test may have been a false positive.
Yes.
I think that is still up in the air.
Yes.
It still would have knocked Mahomes out of the week of practice and media availability and everything. Maybe that would have all cleared up well enough again to be on the plane for Tampa. Mm-hmm. But it would have still had the same impact it's had on Kilgore through this week.
We would have had
crazy.
We would have had some mental breakdowns in Kansas City.
Yes.
And by some I mean the whole city.
Yes.
Just one giant mental breakdown.
Also, Darth Maul Dad on Twitch said that he said my son got cut in half by a lightsaber.
It's true.
He's still alive.
Sorry for your loss.
Z-Man says, I bet Darth Maul wishes he would have gotten interrupted mid-cut. It's a good joke.
A very good joke.
Here's a segue. Mike Golic next.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Are you ready, Kansas City? Our favorite team is heading to Tampa, and we're ready to enter the red zone at Red Door Grill. Celebrate the big game with big flavors. Pre-order the famous charred wood-fired wings or keep it fresh with one of the all-new handcrafted salads. Made from scratch, tossed to perfection, guaranteed to be a fan favorite. Get 20 of the wood-fired wings for $25 or 100 for just $100. So what are you waiting for, KC? Order online today at reddoorgrill.com or download the new app.
Watch your favorite TV channels now with help from Menards. Receive local HD digital broadcast channels for free with the help of RCA antennas. Watch the big game or catch up on the latest shows without the need for a cable subscription or an internet connection. An RCA amplified indoor TV antenna is perfect for better reception. Pick it up now for $14.99 at Menards. Sale prices are good through Saturday, February 13th.
Save big money at Menards.
Times are certainly uncertain. In fact, the return of food shortages is likely. Don't take chances. Make the decision to acquire a dependable supply of long-lasting emergency food. Food that lasts for up to 25 years in storage, ready the moment you need it. There's an old saying, failing to plan means planning to fail. Don't wait for the next crisis. Have a 3-month, 6-month, or even 1-year supply of food on hand. It's easy and affordable. We're My Patriot Supply, America's leader in emergency preparedness. We've served millions of folks like you for over a decade, and our mission is your survival. Our meals are delicious and provide you with 2,000 calories a day, and our kits arrive quickly and discreetly at your doorstep. Visit MyPatriotSupply.com and feast your eyes on the food that could save your life someday. That's MyPatriotSupply.com. Take the pressure off yourself. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and face the future without regrets.
What's up, Kansas City? Jake Gutierrez here to tell you about my friends from Lightstream, a division of SunTrust Bank. Are you thinking about the high interest rate credit cards you used over the holidays? I am. When it comes to refinancing your credit cards, you've got options. But only Lightstream was ranked #1 by J.D. Power for customer satisfaction with personal loans. Lightstream's credit card consolidation loans start at just 5.95% APR with autopay and excellent credit. You could save yourself thousands in interest. You can even get your money the same day that you apply. Apply today for a credit card consolidation loan from the company J.D. Power, ranked #1 for customer satisfaction in personal loans. Plus, get an additional interest rate discount simply by going to lightstream.com/Jake. It's lightstream.com/Jake. Subject to credit approval, rates range from 5.95% APR to 19.99% APR. Include 0.50% autopay discount. Lowest rates require excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Jake for more information.
There's a new way to buy electronics in Kansas City. Hi, I'm Kevin Keatsman. Bstock.net is America's online discount electronics leader. Save up to 30% on brand new computers, monitors, printers, and the world's best TVs. A local KC company, we're lucky they've opened an outlet store in Olathe that saves you even more. Apple, Dell, Samsung, new in the box with warranties. And at Bstock.net's outlet store, you get old-fashioned advice on the right product for you. Bstock.net, 14680 South Flaming Road in Olathe.
Summit Heating and Cooling is celebrating our boys in red back-to-back championships with our back-to-back rebate. Through February, Summit Heating and Cooling is supporting Lennox's winter rebate with a matching rebate. That's up to $3,000 off a system price, and you still get the qualifying utility rebates. Let's fight for our right to Lombardi. Remember, if you're looking for the top, reach for the Summit. Summit Heating and Cooling. Visit us at summithckc.com or call us today at 816-832-7770.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
This is the best hair on the station, this show here.
On Sports Radio 810, WHB.
From haircuts to embedded forehead diamonds, we've covered a lot of sort of eyebrow-up content throughout the show so far tonight. And I'm going to say we're just going to get less hair and less diamonds, more brains, more cerebral, more fun. Mike Golic will join us right now. I talked to him a little bit earlier, so, if you're watching it in the various video feeds, you're like, wow, Josh's mouth isn't moving. Is he a ventriloquist? No, we needed to work with Golic's schedule, so I'll also tell you ahead of time. It's a very fun conversation. We got to talk to him a couple of years ago when we were in Atlanta during the Super Bowl, and he was a great chat then, was again today as well. So here is Mike Golic, not of ESPN or of anything right now, just on Twitter, @Golic, and you can hear what he wanted to tell us about at the end of the segment as well. But a good talk with a good dude and one of a genuine titan in the sports talk radio industry. Here is my conversation with Mike Golic. Joining us now is Mike Golic Sr. I don't know if he likes the fact that Senior now has to be attached to the end of his name. I guess we can ask him now. You can follow him on Twitter @Golic, maybe the cleanest Twitter handle in the game. And you can find out about Super Squares through his Twitter account. We'll talk about that more in a minute. But, Mike, do you like the fact that it's Mike Golic Sr. now? I mean, it means that Gojo has had enough success to challenge you for the name, but it also makes you add the word senior to the end of yours.
No, it makes me think that I should have named him, Cliff or something like that when he was born. It turns out it was a massive mistake naming him after me.
Listen, well, if we force him to take the junior and really make that a part of the brand, then we'll keep you as simply Mike Golic. Again, you can follow him on Twitter @Golic. And honestly, I feel like I should have a whole list of things to rattle off. You can also check out the Sorry in Advance podcast. I was listening to the latest episode of that earlier today, actually, so you can check that out. But I feel like I should have, just a laundry list of things that should be attached to your name at this point. But for the first time in a while, you're kind of enjoying free agency on some level, I imagine. What have the last few months been like as you've kind of felt out this at a very weird time, I imagine, to be a sports free agent?
It is weird being a free agent. I mean, it only took, 23 years, 25 years for that to happen. So, yeah, it's definitely some new territory for me. When the show ended at the end of July, at least I got to call college games. So I was happy about doing that. And that's something I'll continue to do down the road. But, yeah, not having a show, I think I'm driving my wife nuts every now and then because something will be going on in sports and I'll be jabbering to her about it, and she'd be rolling her eyes, wishing I still had a show. I listen to Mike's show, and I text him my opinions all the time, which he doesn't care about anymore. So, yeah, I'm running out of outlets. I know there's podcasts, I do those and stuff, but I miss that kind of timeliness, of a show when things are going on. Oh, like when, say, a barber has COVID and acts up, costing a couple of guys some contact tracing and things like that right before the biggest game of your football life. So, things like that, and I don't have an outlet to talk. So that's been tough, but I'll get back into it. Like I said, calling games, and whether I want to jump back into a daily radio show or TV show, I'll have to decide if I want to do that or not. But we're talking to a lot of people and taking my time and just making sure. But it's pretty nice to get up at 7:30 now instead of 4:15.
Yeah, I wondered if the morning part of it, if you would let sort of just go by the wayside and enjoy letting your alarm come up at a godly hour. But I don't expect you to give us the blueprint here. Night in Kansas City would be a weird time for you to be like, all right, here's what Mike Golic is doing next. But I am curious how you've experienced not having the live thing every day and what kind of thing you feel like you want to do next. Like what? Well,
I mean, it's the first. Yeah, it's really what my agent told me. He said, listen, you put yourself in a position where you can just sail off into the sunset if you want. You can just call games if you want, or you can jump back in it and get back to a daily 2, 3, 4 hour show, on radio or TV or streaming and get into the podcast world and call games with it. He said, you just have to decide, how much you want to do. So, we're talking to just about everybody out there. And, nothing happens now, especially during football. You got to wait till the new football crews and stuff are set, and then we'll start talking about shows, if I can fit on a show somewhere. So I just have to kind of decide what I want to do. And quite honestly, I'm only 58, and the more I'm away from it, the more I'm like, you know what, I need to jump back into this. I still get a good charge, out of seeing what's going on every day and would like an outlet to talk about it. So I'd imagine I'll be back into it again soon.
You touched on our story of the day in a week that's been busy enough already with the COVID barber, as I think he may forever be known. What's the worst haircut you've ever gotten? Probably not one that was, threatening you with a disease, I'd imagine.
No, it was not. It would be my rookie year in the NFL when I got drafted by the Houston Oilers, for those young people out there. that is now the Tennessee Titans. They used to be the Houston Oilers, just for quick education for the youngsters.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a rookie, we had to get our heads shaved, and when the veterans were shaving our heads, they didn't take a lot of care. They left big spot here, no spot there. We actually had a 6th-round draft pick, an offensive lineman, threatened to leave camp if they touched his hair. And basically the vets were like, we don't care if you go or stay. Go ahead. And he was actually leaving, and the coaches had to stop him from leaving. He ended up getting cut, but the coaches ended up stopping him from leaving. And when the vets were like, go ahead and leave. If you can't take getting your hair cut, we don't want you around. But it was an ugly cut that day, no doubt about it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like that would have been pleasant. I also I think Trevor Lawrence could probably pull that off, right? If you touch my hair, I'm leaving, then that would probably make some changes happen. I don't think you do that as a 6th-rounder.
But you know what? You kind of like guys that, like, our 1st-round pick that year was Ray Childress, the defensive end from Texas A&M. He was like number 3 pick overall. And, back at that time, that's before the rookie wage scale, so you had more holdouts. He held out for a while. And he showed up after we had broken camp, and we were already back at our facility, and he let him shave his head. They put the chair out on the 50-yard line at practice, and he sat out there, and they let him shave it. He let them shave his head. You just kind of that team camaraderie thing.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, I don't think, and in all honesty, I don't think a lot of that's done anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think they do a lot of that, so I don't think Trevor Lawrence probably has to worry about it anymore. Maybe the worst you have to do is sing your alma mater, your fight song or something.
My favorite and listen, I understand that there are, varying levels to what works and doesn't in terms of kind of a hazing conversation, but I really like it whenever they have to wear some sort of silly costume. That's harmless enough and a little bit embarrassing. That feels like the middle ground. I feel like we could take that path.
Well, I like that. They do that in baseball, but they do that and they're on the road. So it's not just wearing something goofy in your home, locker room. You got to be on the road and out in public. So I agree. That's kind of cool. And you know what? If you're one of the young players, man, just do it. I just think just play along with it. It's not like hazing and doing anything horrible to somebody like you see the horrible stories. I mean, my God, it's harmless stuff. It's fun stuff. It's team stuff. Yeah, I've never had an issue with that.
I'm going to see if I can get everybody on the show to shave our heads together in like a show of solidarity. Maybe.
Good luck.
I don't know if it's the Chiefs win or lose. One way or the other, I think we might be able to pull that off. I think I might be able to get beards in on it. We'll see. But let's talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. There's a bunch of things I'd love to talk to you about, but I'd be a fool to not get a little conversation with you about what we're seeing. And specifically, look, I mean, the quarterback head-to-head is always a little overplayed because there's a lot of other guys on the field. But also the implications of seeing Mahomes versus Tom Brady in a Super Bowl. We don't get that kind of potential either changing of the guard or rejection of the new guard in a championship game like this pretty much anywhere in sports. So I'm welcoming even the overplayed quarterback versus quarterback storyline on this one. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I mean, listen, when you have these two, the most accomplished quarterback of all time and the one that's the best in the game right now and is so much younger, it's a great matchup, but, and they'll be out there, obviously, to decide the game, but there are so many other things to look at. On Kansas City side, the 3-personnel switch on the offensive line. Remmer's going from right tackle to left tackle, Wiley from right guard to right tackle, Wisniewski coming off the bench. Who's going to guard, who's going to cover Kelsey? Tampa Bay can't put a linebacker on him. Is it going to be a corner? Is it going to be a safety? Who covers him? In all honesty, I think if you tell me a Tampa Bay tight end is going to catch a touchdown, I'll put money on that as Cameron Brate instead of Rob Gronkowski, who has done a lot of the dirty work and staying in and helping block on blitzes. And Spagnuolo is going to dial some blitzes up for Kansas City to try and get after Brady. And I think, to me, one of the big names, and he's a big person, that can have a big effect on this game is Chris Jones, because Brady, we know, is a statue back there. He's great, but he also doesn't move around a lot. So pressure right in his face could cause a lot of damage. We know Brady, he'll either hit the ground, wait for another play, he'll throw it into the ground, wait for another play, or like we saw last game, he'll hoist one up and, go for a big play. And we saw the interceptions last game that he threw. So I think Chris Jones, and, you get him over on Aaron Stinney, the right guard for Tampa Bay, who's just made a couple of starts. If you can get him in a one-on-one situation where you occupy Jensen, the center, so they can't really double Chris Jones on him, I think Chris Jones could wreak some havoc on the interior of that line.
We're in Kansas City right now, so I don't know if you kind of want to tailor your take to the spot you're in, but how are you feeling right now about where this game ends up going? Do the Chiefs run it back? Do they complete the back-to-back? Do you like Brady to get one more outside of New England?
So I've already said this to a few places now, my prediction, and I know everybody wants to see, they say, how do we know if the game lives up to the hype? Well, the way the game is today, and because you have these two quarterbacks, everybody's going to want to see both teams in at least the 30s. Me, as a former defensive player, I'd love to see a 10-6 game, but I doubt that's going to happen. So this is what I'm saying. I'm saying quarterback with the ball last, probably going to win. I'm going to say 31-31 late in the fourth quarter. Mahomes has the ball, takes the team down. They get the game-winning field goal, win at 34-31. Everybody in Kansas City is happy. Everybody around the country is happy because there was a lot of scoring. And Kansas City and Andy Reid and Mahomes and the bunch win 2 in a row.
I'm very okay with it playing out that way, and hopefully we at least get a few, maybe big Chris Jones plays to satisfy the defensive craving. Maybe we get a nice Tom Brady quarterback hit. I hope it goes exactly like you just said, though. One other thing that I would like for you to give your prognostication on is Super Squares, what you're doing with them right now, what it is, what people can do to get involved this weekend.
So this is I've gone through this. I'm way older than you, so this is for old technology to new technology. Like when I was driving around when I first got my license and I needed to find a place, I had to pull out a map. Now I just, have an app that tells me where to go.
Right.
Well, the Squares game every year that's played on Super Bowls, the old paper game, where you pick the numbers and you have them for, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and so on. Well, we've gone from a paper Squares game to an app. It's called Super Squares. You download the app. It's absolutely free, and there's $2.4 million in cash and prizes up for grabs. Again, this is for free. And it's not just picking numbers for squares. You get to actually make 3 predictions on the game so you can show some skill. You're going to answer 2 questions where you get points about answering questions about advertisements within the app during that time. You get points for those, and you're going to need them. And then you pick 1 square, which turns into 4 different number combinations, so you don't get stuck with a 5 and a 9, and you're like screwed for the entire game. It changes every quarter so you can get better numbers. And you have a chance to win. Somebody is going to win an $80,000 Rivian electric SUV, electric car. It's an SUV. It's phenomenal. And if you get a perfect square, you could win $1 million. And if you like to do the group thing, like you get a group of 20 people that play the Squares game normally. Well, there's what's called a skybox in the app where you can have your own group. 20 people, 200 people, 2,000 people. It doesn't matter. It can be your group. And you can have your own prizes in that group that you want and know that your score in that group still counts for the national prizes as well. So you can win them there as well. I'm having a skybox, and I'm giving everybody my password, which is Golic. You can jump in my skybox, and if you win in my skybox, you're going to get $250 to the Hall of Fame gear shop to get all the Kansas City gear that you want, if you're a Chiefs fan or whatever you want. So it's basically a new modern technology of paper squares called Super Squares. Just download the app. It's going to take you about 3 minutes to get yourself through that. It's self-explanatory, and it does all the math for you because I hate hard math. So they take care of it, and then they'll let you know if you win.
I just downloaded it. I've written down the password for your group is Golic. I'll be there. And listen, I could use an electric SUV. I'll take the cash if that's what ends up being, a gift card, wherever that goes.
There you go.
It sounds like a lot of fun, actually. That's a really good idea that I'm glad exists. So I'm going to check that out as soon as we get done here and hopefully, win some money, end up at the top of the leaderboard alongside you, who's going to nail it, I imagine. This is really your next move, is just win this, take $1 million, and then start your own thing if you want.
That's exactly right. Then I can do whatever I want, which would be a beautiful thing.
Mike Golic, no further part of your name needs mentioning. Thank you very much for making some time for us tonight. We'll check out Super Squares in the App Store and look forward to hopefully getting to talk to you again another year or two.
Sounds good. I appreciate the time. Thanks.
Mike Golic, follow him on Twitter at Golic. Wait for whatever comes next, and check out Super Squares. Just download it in any app store.
At JB Brisco, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl 55 is coming to America's largest all-sports radio station, Sports Radio 810, WHB.
The road to repeat for Kansas City will run through Tampa.
As the Chiefs get set to run it back. Follow all the action right here on your home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. Sports Radio 810, WHB.
If there was ever a year to bring back real romance on Valentine's Day, this is the one. A gift of colorful, fine jewelry from Shane Company will dazzle and delight. That's because we're known for our natural gemstones, rubies, sapphires in over a dozen colors, blush morganite, aquamarine, and more. I recommend a pendant with an impressive pear-shaped gemstone. Choose garnet, amethyst, or London blue topaz. Surprise her with the matching earrings. Come see us or go online to find a whole spectrum of colorful Valentine's Day gifts in a wide range of prices. Let's bring back romance. Wake her up with pink sapphire earrings as bright as the sunrise. Or wait until twilight and give her a heart pendant set with rubies as romantic as the sunset. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Take your romance game to a whole new level this Valentine's with Diamonds Direct's most popular offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase happening right now. You know jewelry is the perfect gift to celebrate your love. And with this incredible offer, you can afford to go big. Like a $6,000 diamond tennis bracelet, just $100 a month. Or a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings, just $50 a month. Diamonds Direct has teamed up with the world's top jewelry designers for an expanded selection of Valentine's surprises for any budget. Romantic gifts starting as low as $400. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, colored gemstones. The guaranteed largest selection, highest quality, and always the best value. Whether you shop in store or online at diamondsdirect.com. Make this the most memorable Valentine's ever with 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase, including engagement rings. Now through Valentine's Day. Celebrate your love at Diamonds Direct
at 119th and Row. Hey, Kansas City fans, get your Chiefs limited edition Rawlings football now by calling 1-800-345-2868 or by visiting nicosports.com. Each fully engraved football is priced at only $99 and comes with an individually numbered certificate of authenticity. The football features their AFC Championship, Chiefs team history, logos, full season schedule with opponents, and a summary of Mahomes' accomplishments. It will be automatically upgraded to Super Bowl champs if they win. Fans can order now by calling 1-800-345-2868 or by visiting nicosports.com. That's 1-800-345-2868 or by visiting nicosports.com. A portion of the proceeds will be donated to Cornerstones of Care. So Kansas City fans, get your limited edition Chiefs Rawlings football now. Call 1-800-345-2868, 1-800-345-2868, or online at nicosports.com, nikcosports.com.
A KC tradition since 1957, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef, which has been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Where is the smoking a joint standing on a horse capital of the world? Oh, that's Kansas City.
Right here. Midwest, baby.
On Sports Radio 810, WHB.
Thanks again to Mike Golic for joining us. I really enjoyed that. Rudy said that there was a text on the text line saying that we should have Golic more often. I will take Mike Golic on this show. Senior, junior, the third. I don't, there's not a third at the moment. But whenever, any Mike Golic, anything. His wife does they have like the family podcast that I mentioned earlier. Sorry in advance, I was listening to the most recent episode of that before talking to him. And their whole family is fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk to any direct relative of the Golics pretty much whenever they decide they want. I'll give them our call in, our backdoor number. They can call in whenever. I will.
Oh, he has it. Oh, he has that number.
He does. There were some technical difficulties in making that work, but we got it. We got there. He was very chill about that and very generous with his time. So thanks again to Golic for joining us. We don't have a whole lot of time this segment, so we can't work through a bunch of audio. So I'll just say I'm really interested to see what he does end up doing next. Obviously, Le Batard has been sort of building his thing with John Skipper, who's the former president of ESPN. They're doing their thing. I don't expect them all to like team up or whatever, but you've got two pretty high-profile sort of exoduses from ESPN, plus Trey Wingo, because it was obviously Golic and Wingo after Mike and Mike split or whatever.
His contract they didn't renew it.
ESPN pretty much let him and Wingo just go at the end of that.
He has a podcast, and he just recently got a job with NBC covering golf. Like, he's a broadcaster for their golf.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I believe it's NBC. He is working in golf, though, now.
But really, I mean, even beyond what is the outlet or whatever for Golic, it feels weird calling him Mike, but it also feels weird calling him Golic.
So Michael.
Mr. Golic.
His Twitter handle's Golic.
Mr. Golic. What'll be interesting to see what he does is less so for me in terms of who he ends up with or what outlet or whatever, but just like what type of thing he's still interested in doing. He does something like a guy who misses the live mic, and there's just something different about live radio. There's something kind of fun about the particular high wire act. And then sometimes, like in the first hour of Monday's show, you fall. And you fall, and you're falling, and you're falling, and you keep falling, and you look up, and you keep falling. And then sometimes it's a lot of fun. You get good moments, fun guests, and good thing to talk about. It'll continue whenever we come back. I also had a chance to talk with Scott Graham of Westwood One, NFL Films, and also the Puppy Bowl. We cover a lot of ground with Scott. That's next.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, it's former Jayhawk Greg Gurley. Kansas fans and alumni are in every city and state we play. If your favorite Jayhawk fans are missing home, send them some Joe's KC Barbecue. Nothing beats home court and championship barbecue on game day. Joe's will ship anywhere in the U.S. It's easy to reheat, and it tastes just as good at home as it does at Joe's. You can ship all of Joe's favorites, like ribs, brisket, burn ends, and even the famous Z-Man. Ordering is easy, and it's just a few clicks away at joeskc.com.
Hi, I'm Fred Ramsey. And I'm Mark Tobin. Hey, folks, if you're not busy Saturday mornings from 6 to 7 a.m., well, I hope you'll join us for the Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet St. Joe.
Join us and our expert guests, and we'll be talking about hunting and fishing, dog training. We'll give you tips, pass along stories, and most important, share some laughs along the way.
That's right. We cover it all, from crappie to waterfowl, and we'll tell you how to cook it, too.
The Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, fellas, listen up, because Valentine's Day is closer than you think. And right now, you can get a jump on Valentine's Day so you don't get in the doghouse with that special someone in your life. The Gifting Dudes have all that you need. Incredible premium head roses, 20% larger than standard roses, and you know, despite what I've been trying to convince people for my entire life, size does matter. These are long-lasting roses, twice as long as the typical roses from florists. The Gifting Dudes are giving our listeners a special deal before prices increase next week. Order before Sunday and take advantage of lower prices plus 15% off your order. Go to thegiftingdudes.com and enter my promo code NATE at checkout to save 15% on premium head roses or giant strawberries. You get to choose the delivery date, so don't procrastinate. Order now. That's thegiftingdudes.com with promo code NATE for 15% off your Valentine's Day order.
Hey guys, looking for a new rewarding career? Check out the Operating Engineers Local 101 Apprentice Program. In addition to paid on-the-job training with union construction companies, you'll learn to operate all types of heavy equipment, including cranes, bulldozers, backhoes, graders, scrapers, trenchers, loaders, compactors, pavers, asphalt and concrete plants, drilling and boring machines, and other specialized construction machinery. You'll receive great benefits and a pension plan as well. Call today 816-640-2336. That's 816-640-2336.
What makes Bushnell Bushnell? Innovation, precision, hard work. The Bushnell likes knowing that each rangefinder, rifle scope, and binocular around the world is Kansas City through and through. Designed by our neighbors, family, and friends, 300 strong. who support their families and this great city by making some of the best outdoor gear on the planet. Bushnell thanks Kansas City for being home for more than 28 years and making every Bushnell special. Come find your next homegrown Bushnell at your local retailer or on Bushnell.com.
Super Bowl 55 is coming to America's largest all-sports radio station, Sports Radio 810 WHB. This is Kevin Harlan. I'll have the call with Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner on Super Bowl Sunday when the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's Patrick Mahomes against Tom Brady. Tune in to hear all the action right here on your official home for Super Bowl 55. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Coverage of the big game is presented by Victory Chevrolet. At Victory, we sell them all. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Online at anthonyphc.com. By CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local Shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather. And by Community America Credit Union. Score cash back like a champion with Chiefs checking only at Community America.
Super Bowl 55, Sunday at 5 p.m. on Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City. This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Whenever we come back, we'll talk about football. That's a promise that we probably will not be able to live up to. That's next.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We're joined now by Scott Graham, a man whose name you probably know if you're listening to the radio here on Sports Radio 810 every weekend, and a voice you will most certainly recognize. Scott, I don't want to blow my cover too early, but I think the main thing I'm going to need from you today is to try to help me just kind of improve on my instrument that I have right here, because this is all I'm working with, and you've got one of the best voices in the business.
You're too kind. I appreciate that. But you and I both know that how you say it doesn't matter nearly as much as what you say.
That's what I tell myself, but then I hear you say literally anything. I think, well, that sounds better than the smartest thing I've ever said. You could just, read the address book. Do they still make address books? I'm honestly not sure.
I tell you what, though, Josh, the funny part is you can have that kind of presentation and style and everything, and be a dad growing up, your kids still don't listen to you, so it really doesn't matter that much.
It's Scott Graham of Westwood One. You'll hear him around Sunday Night Football all the time here on Sports Radio 810, also all across NFL Films, and a long list of past stops that I'd love to talk to you about at some point, Scott. But
sure.
The first thing I've got to go to is the fact that you really do have one of the, in the literal and figurative senses. I'll expand it to say that also what you say and how you deliver it is certainly a part of your toolbox, where you really do have a voice that is inseparable from NFL football, a game about to kick off, a game that just wrapped up, an NFL Films montage. Do people ever, whenever we used to be able to go outside, people ever recognize the voice and go, wait a second, I know you from somewhere. How can I place that?
It's funny. It happens every once in a while, and you leave a message for somebody on their voicemail. Remember when we used to do that? Or you talk with somebody and you start talking about sports, and somebody gives you that. Hang on a minute. I thought I knew that from somewhere. So it does happen from time to time, and it's fun to be recognizable in that way, while also being a lot of the time incognito, because. Working in radio, I don't have to deal with the trappings that Jim Nantz does, because hard for him to walk down the street. I'm fine.
Right, you get a little bit of a taste of both worlds in that way. What has that been like for you over so many years of doing so many different things? Is there something you look back on kind of most fondly and say, or maybe it's one of the things you're doing right now, and you say, well, this is something I'm perfectly happy for people to know me by, because that right there, that's the best that it's gotten. That's the most proud I've been of something I've produced.
Honestly, if you want to know the truth, I've been lucky enough that while I'm doing each of the things that I'm doing, I kind of have had a chance to feel that way. I mean, you mentioned NFL Films. That's, I still, and I haven't been inside the building at Films because of COVID for quite some time, but I still tingle every time I walk in that building and look at those Emmy Awards and think about what Steve Sable meant to my career, giving me an opportunity to do something like that. So, I mean, that's always going to be, I think, the ultimate, because I grew up as a really big fan of NFL films, and I used to watch This Week in Pro Football and Game of the Week. And then one year when they brought Game of the Week back, they called me and said, would you audition for it? Yeah. Do you want me to crawl there? And it's just that is something that I will always be tremendously proud of. But it's honestly, if you're doing the work that you're enjoying and you're working with people who are committed to producing something that's good, you can kind of have that feeling about just about anything that you're doing. And, I certainly have felt that way about the last, 12 years now at Westwood One.
I imagine that there are probably a number of these from between the time with Westwood One and the NFL Films experience and being able to walk into that building whenever we went into buildings that were in our houses and immediate, grocery stores and whatnot. But was there a moment that sticks out to you as you kind of gasping for a second or pinching yourself and going, wait a second, this is blank. This is something that I'm not supposed to see or not supposed to be here for? Because I've had, a series of those moments myself over the course of the last several years.
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, I guess the most obvious one, although I'll start with NFL Films, when I auditioned for the show, when I auditioned for Game of the Week, and I had Steve Sable on as a guest on a talk show a couple of times, and I knew Steve a little bit, and when they were going for Game of the Week, he threw a list of 3 or 4 names out of people that he wanted to audition. So I did the audition, and this is back in VHS tape days, and I said, regardless of what happens with this audition, can you send me this audition? And a week or so later in the mail, we get a VHS tape, and it's me doing the audition. Immediately, I go over to the VCR, and I pop it in, and I hear myself with NFL Films music in the pictures, and I started to laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like I had gone to narrator fantasy camp, and then when I ultimately got the job, it was like, oh wow, I actually have to do that.
Right.
Yeah, and I was working at the time with Harry Callis, and he's a good friend. Gave me a couple of pointers. Steve gave me a ton of pointers. But the one place where I sat down and I felt completely, totally out of place, because it's not what I do necessarily, was the first time that I did, the first of 3 in a row that I did, filling in as the PA announcer for the Super Bowl. I mean, that was, because Alan Roach has been doing that for a while. He's phenomenal. His voice, you want to talk voice of God, that's voice of God.
Yeah.
And, I did not have literally any experience as a public address announcer, and, okay, it's not like I was trying out to do it at the high school football game. This is a TV audience of over 100 million, and the last thing you want to do is mess up somebody's name, or the last thing you want to do is make a mistake, because once it's out there, you can't get it back. So, and PA work is a little bit tougher than you might think, because you're kind of keeping track of what's going on in the field like you're doing play-by-play. So, down and distance, who made the tackle, that kind of thing. And I've done play-by-play for a long time, but it was a different animal. And it happened to be Super Bowl 48 in the Meadowlands, and I would say it was a good quarter and a half before I felt comfortable doing that.
I think, I imagine, and please tell me if this isn't the case, but I imagine that there's some amount of time, either before or maybe it's through the first quarter and a half. At some point, I hope you get to a point where you stop thinking in the back of your head, oh, God, I'm doing PA for the Super Bowl. Because I feel like as long as I had to sort of wrestle with that reality, I would be some level of timid about it, I think. I don't want to say terrified. I don't want to say couldn't push through, but certainly not comfortable, because that's just as big a stage as it gets.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. And you want to make sure, and even when you're right, you're kind of second guessing yourself. And then once you stop second guessing yourself, you've settled into whatever it is that you're trying to do, and it's better. But that brings about funny stories as well, because the next year I was in Arizona, and there was a circumstance that made it so they asked me to do it again, and I had to introduce out on the field before the game Idina Menzel. Now, everybody, I'm sure, remembers John Travolta and what he did to her name. So I knew I had it, and they do a rehearsal day on Friday, and she was on the field, and I introduced her, and I got it. She came up to the microphone on Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm like, oh, okay, you've got this. This is not something you don't know.
Uh-huh.
So I did it, and I got it right. So the next day, after the entire week of doing shows, and when we're in the Super Bowl town, it's work all the time, trying to put together the shows that we put together. It's a tremendous amount of. We're not the Super Bowl party group at Westwood One. We're actually hunkered down in a conference room. You wouldn't know what city you were in.
Right.
But on the way back home, I picked up a newspaper that I hadn't looked at and was sitting in my room. And I said, I'll read through a couple of the pregame things, and now that I know what happened in the game. And one of the things I saw was the Super Bowl prop bets, and it was 31-1 in Vegas that the PA announcer was going to screw up Idina Menzel's name.
Oh, no.
I had a chance to make a lot of money. A lot of money. I mean, I would have been fired, of course.
Right.
But if I had laid that money off in Vegas in, little chunks, maybe I would have gone on to a different career.
Wow. I listen, you didn't do it. It's safe now. We're beyond the scope of this coming back to. How long did you think about it? How long did you have the serious thought of that's 31-1?
Well, I mean, the game was over. It was in the past. It made,
okay. I'm sorry.
It made it really easy to try to laugh about it on the plane ride home from Arizona back to New Jersey. But the answer is you're in this business. We're all perfectionists about what we do. You couldn't have paid me enough money to screw that up. What I did realize, though, afterwards was that John Travolta was in the crowd that day.
Oh, my goodness.
We should have done something.
Oh, my goodness.
We should have done something. I should have stepped aside at that point, and John Travolta should have come out with a wireless mic and introduced her, and that would have been great. But anyway.
That story has layers to it. And, yeah, I mean, listen, you would have been haunted by getting that name wrong forever. I'm going to be staring at my ceiling tonight, realizing that I missed the part of the story where that happened after you had already said it, and then I screwed that up here. I mean, that's going to be my whole day. It's Scott Graham of Westwood One, NFL Films, and a whole bunch of other things. I do want to ask you a little bit about the Super Bowl we're about to see, but I know for a fact, based on the people who listen to this show that we're doing right now, and sort of the vibe that I'm proud of to say that our listeners care about, is that you've got a lot of puppy bowls under your belt. You have been a main part of that broadcast for long enough. And then now also, if I have my facts correct, this year you're essentially you're losing out on that opportunity to Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg, which I don't want to talk about, are you going to be doing this thing you've done in years past, except for the fact that I can't imagine you expected to be tagged out for Snoop Dogg at any point in your broadcasting career.
Not my broadcasting career, any career. Any career that I ever had. Any time that I decided to take on a job. When I had my first job when I was 16 at Burger King, to teaching classes as an adjunct professor, to when I spent one summer as a Teamster loading trucks when I was a teenager. No, I never expected to be replaced by Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg in anything that I ever did. Again, they decided that they wanted to do something different. I did 9 of those and 3 dog bowls to boot. And it was a great experience. Now, it was all voice work. I was never there while the puppies were actually playing.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So, I did miss out on that part of it.
Right.
And everything was written for me. And in the first week of January, it would take, 2 3-hour sessions to knock out the 2 hours. And there was a lot of repeat takes of the same line over and over, and you had to have a certain kind of tone for it. But, that was another one that kind of came out of nowhere. Harry Callis had been the original guy to do it, and when he passed away, another gentleman did it for 2 years, and then they came back to Harry's and my shared agent and said, Scott might be able to give it back to more of the flavor that we're talking about. So, the first year I did it, here we go again. I didn't necessarily know what I was doing. I tried, and I banged it out. And so that year I'm at the Super Bowl, and I had just finished my pregame shows. And, I've got Super Bowl preview back then I didn't have Insider. Now I do. I have Super Sunday. So a solid 3-hour block leading up to the pregame show. I had just finished, and it was time for me to go take my walk around the field, say hi to people, take a look, gauge what was going on the field. And in my pocket, my cell phone is blowing up. And I'm like, everybody just heard my broadcast at the Super Bowl, and I am about to get accolades. And every text was about Puppy Bowl. Every single one of them. So it was a lot of fun to be associated with it for as long as I was. I don't know that I'm permanently gone. I may be. I don't know. But if that's what I got, if I got 9 Puppy Bowls and 3 Dog Bowls out of it, and I can tell the story that I got pushed aside by Snoop and Martha, I'm fine.
It just seems like about as good a way to, again, 1 year or more than that, to lose out on a gig to Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart. That's certainly very unique.
How many people can say that?
I mean, like
in
7.
America, how many people can say that they got shoved aside from a job by Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg?
It honestly, I don't want to critique your Twitter bio or anything, but if you wanted to add that to it, I think that would gain a few followers and a few extra eyeballs on the Twitter.
I don't hate that idea.
Yeah.
I don't hate that idea at all. That's great.
I think that's part of the future there. You can follow Scott on Twitter at Scott Wipeout as of right now. No mention of Snoop and Martha Stewart in the Puppy Bowl in the bio, but maybe it'll get there. Scott, I forgot to even ask ahead of time if there's anything you need to tell people about that you're talking about or promoting or anything over the course of this Super Bowl week, or if you want to just direct people to what you're doing with Wipeout Productions, your Twitter account, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, this week is all about the Super Bowl, and for us at Westwood One, it's all about normally the culmination of an entire year's worth of telling a story. And somebody hit us with a tweet last year and said that we had done a great job of not broadcasting but telling stories, and that's kind of what we do. And there's a lot of stories to tell with both of these teams. So the opportunity to talk with the people that I've already talked with this week, and I just had the pregame interview today with Bruce Arians. I talked to Tyreek Hill on Monday. I talked to Travis Kelce on Monday. Frank Clark. It's that part of it is it really is. This is going to sound probably the corniest thing I'm gonna say. But it's almost kind of like our Super Bowl because we work at it all year, and now we have an opportunity to give you 2 o'clock until whenever it ends and try to make this. And we're not making the game better. We're trying to make the experience when you're in your car or when you happen to be listening on your phone while you're taking a walk or whatever it is that you're doing when you're away from a television set. We're trying to make it a better experience. So 2 p.m. Eastern until the game is over, we're there. And, Jim Gray will be talking to the quarterbacks, and Jim Gray might have another special surprise coming up. And Laura Oakman's going to be talking to Andy Reid. And, and Tony Baselli's talking to a couple of people, including Rob Gronkowski. I mean, we kind of spread the wealth with our entire crew so that everybody gets an opportunity to talk. And I'm going to be joined by Tony for preview, and I'm going to be joined by Terrell Davis as the co-host for NFL Insider. Mike Holmgren's going to stop by, always a gigantic favorite of mine and the entire crew. We're going to talk with him. But there are so many different things that we're going to be looking at over the course of that time, and it's great. It's fun. It's exhausting, but it's a fun time of year.
That's about as good a way as I've heard anyone talk about this, especially these couple of weeks, as you'll hear anywhere. And, of course, you can hear Scott, the whole Westwood One coverage, all of it, pregame, the game, postgame, all right here on Sports Radio 810, all around our local coverage, of course. We're in Petro before. Myself, after here on 810, we'll have all that coverage all through the great folks at Westwood One, including, of course, the currently on the air, Scott Graham. Scott, thank you very much for all of your time here tonight. You're generous with your time, your stories, and being able to, grasp onto the fact that Snoop Dogg, you really opened for Snoop Dogg. Maybe that should be your Twitter bio. And I look forward to hearing your work on Sunday. Thank you again.
I don't know as much about Twitter as many people. So a lot of it is my age, and I don't tweet a whole lot. It is a hashtag displaced by Martha and Snoop. Is there anything can I get traction out of that if I tried to do that?
I'm going to workshop it. I'm going to see what I can do. I think there's something there. I think There's definitely a Martha Snoop, like a Mount Rushmore kind of thing. It's just you and Snoop and Martha, maybe a little Animal Planet logo. We can get you a hashtag. We can definitely get you a hashtag. I feel like on the spot, I'm floundering, to be honest.
No, you know what? Workshop it, and we'll get back in touch with one another because I'm not exactly sure where I'm going with this thing yet. It's one of those few things that you get in your life where you say, how many other people have done this? So I appreciate your time. It was fun.
I was once replaced by Snoop Dogg is a tough one to beat. It's not a great hashtag, but it's a good sentence. Thank you, Scott.
Take care. Be well.
Scott Graham of Westwood One NFL Films and all the Westwood One coverage again on Sunday here on Sports Radio 810.
Did you know you can listen to Almost Entirely Sports anywhere, anytime? Well, you can. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
This Valentine's, Hen House is your one-stop for everything roses. Get the freshest dozen rose bouquet available for that special person in your life. Several colors to choose from. If you have a special request, Hen House has trained floral designers that are eager to create that unique design just for you. No waiting. Hen House has set up express checkout lanes to help you obtain roses for your sweetheart quickly and conveniently, so there's more time for romance. Get everything you need for Valentine's Day at your local Hen House.
Hey, it's Kevin Keatsman for Roberts Robinson, Chevrolet Buick GMC in Excelsior Springs. Online at robertsrobinson.com. I got to be honest with you. One of the great things about representing Roberts Robinson, Chevrolet Buick GMC is the perks. Mike's a good dude. I mean, these are really good people that treat everyone well. They've been exceptional to me. And he called me up and he said, hey, we do this shop, click, and drive, and we deliver cars right to people if that's what they want to do. Or we'll service their own cars by driving into their house and picking them up. He says, how about if I take a Sierra Denali and drop it in your driveway and you drive it for a few days? I said, hey, you don't have to do that for me. And he said, I want to do it. I said, great. The second I got in this bad boy, I took it right over to my buddy's house. The guy you can't mention on the radio, he's got a Sierra Denali that he's had for several years. And I just went over there and rubbed it right in his face. I said, look at this baby I got from Roberts Robinson. He looked at me all cross-eyed. I loved it. It's a great perk of this deal. But you know what? You can get the same great perks because they treat everyone great at Roberts Robinson, Chevrolet Buick GMC in Excelsior Springs. Online at robertsrobinson.com.
Man, how can you afford gas for that big SUV?
I pay less for gas than everyone else. I got the free Get Upside Gas app and get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas.
Hold on. You're getting up to 25 cents off a gallon with the free Get Upside Gas app while I'm paying full price?
You know it. People earned over $1 million last year. You just got to take a picture of your gas receipt and bam, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back.
You don't have to tell me twice. I'm downloading the free Get Upside Gas app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code LOVE for a 50-cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 75 cents a gallon on your next tank. Just download the free Get Upside app at the App Store or Google Play and use promo code LOVE. Save money on gas on every fill-up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code LOVE. That's LOVE. Visit getupside.com for terms.
Hey guys, Soren Petro here. Are you starting the new year right? Are you starting by prioritizing your health? It's what you should do, and I recommend going to the Low T Center. They can get everything started with an annual wellness exam where they do a comprehensive health assessment exclusively for men, making it quick and easy to take care of your health. They offer monitored, self-injected home testosterone treatment for $135 a month, self-pay. Just go to lowtcenter.com right now to book your appointment. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
A&M Flooring, your one-stop shop flooring store. They've been in business for 30 years and carry all varieties of flooring in their showroom for you to come and see. They guarantee to have your everyday lowest prices. Better floor, better future. Come in and see them today. They're located in the heart of Johnson County, off 135th and Plum, next to Sherwin-Williams.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage tool that leaves you with more time to plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie.
And clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing. At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it. Right now, rates are at a historic low 2.5%. Visit goldenoaklending.com to use Zipline. NMLS 114937, 2.5% fixed, 2.655% APR on a conventional 15-year mortgage with 30% equity and approved credit. JLB Corporation, 8595 College Boulevard, Overland Park, Kansas.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Do you think all of these guys from coastal colleges or like Travis Kelce with a big city personality, they want to be in Kansas City?
With Joshua Brisco.
It's not about Kansas City. It's about the organization and not feel like you're being held hostage.
But that barbecue, though.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
That liner always kind of like freaks me out because it's very serious and I could never remember what the context of the conversation was and I can never remember the joke, which is the thing that really unnerves me. Thanks again to Scott Graham for joining us. I really enjoyed talking to him. The Adina Menzel, Adele Dazeem story, excellent. Being replaced by Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart, excellent. Thanks again to Scott Graham. If anyone has a hashtag suggestion for what the hashtag should be as someone who has been replaced by Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart, you can tweet it at me, you can tweet it at him, you can tweet it at both of us.
Hashtag who let the dog in here?
2 G's, I guess. There's already so many dog puns on the table because it was the Puppy Bowl. I don't know. Don't deflect, Beards, because we got a lot happened in the commercial breaks here. Before we came back with Scott, Beard said something crazy. Rudy is remembering that he has a Rob Manfred story that I don't know and that has not come up in years of doing radio together. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, I think that's going to happen. You're going to have stories that you just remember. But we have to start with Beards because...
You just think commissioner of a sports league. You remember that you met him.
Yeah, you would think. But I would also think that Beards would have a what now? Go ahead, Beards. Why don't you say to everyone what you said to me and Rudy before the last segment.
I don't remember exactly what prompted it.
I quoted it on Twitter, so I'll say. I don't remember what prompted it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't remember what prompted it.
It was a Joe's commercial.
Is that what it was?
A Joe's commercial was playing, and I was thinking, hot diggity darn, I could absolutely put my face into a plate of barbecue and eat it like a piggy out of a trough right now.
Because I remember this day, obviously, they were promoting their Z-Man, which I will say, nothing against Z-Man, Rocky Pig might be the greatest creation in the world.
I think the hot take is to say the Z-Man is the second greatest sandwich ever made. I just don't agree with it. Because I think the Rocket Pig is excellent, but I'm out here for the Z-Man. Because you know what you can get? You know how you can get a Z-Man? Here, let me teach y'all something.
Yeah, but man, that Rocket Pig.
Kids? I was going to say kids or children. Get around here, Chili's. That's half kids, half kitties.
I'm sorry, Beard. You can't eat the Rocket Pig because it has a vegetable on it.
Listen here, mother bleepers, all right? Listen here. You go into Joe's. They're not sponsoring this show, but they're obviously
there's an ad
all around
scheduled
here.
to play next segment. I'm gonna move it up.
Yeah, I want it to be the first ad that plays after the segment
that's what I'm doing.
Because Joe's is not giving me directly any money, and I will die for them. Here's what you do. You walk up and say, I'll take the Z-Man, burnt ends. You got burnt ends? Yeah, I got burnt ends. Z-Man with burnt ends on toast. Texas toast, a couple onion rings,
Toast
some
is
provolone
the underrated
cheese.
Very underrated call.
Do you know who woke me up to that?
Call.
You know who woke me up to that?
I'm going to say Curtis.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. In fact, I can't tell you because he's dead to the show. But he was once upon a time the friend of the show with Pocket Mahomes.
R.I.P.
He's got good hair, okay beard, and a winning personality.
Doesn't sound like anybody we know.
Other than me.
Yeah.
But
Beard's looking a little light there.
I believe it was me, and I thought about trimming it today, and I think you know what I'm going to do? I saw the Tom Brady plastic surgery thing, like down in the thread, some people got kind of like the beard sort of like fill in or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's my move. I don't want anything under my skin, but if I can, just fill out the spots in this beard, I'd take it. Or a full beard replacement would be great, because then you get a better producer.
Good joke.
Thank you.
What a good joke.
Thank you.
I
It's really.
appreciate that.
If you're thinking, wow, Josh sounds mad at beards for some reason. A Joe's commercial played, talking about the Z-Man. Get it with toast and burns. Oh, I was having. I think it was the time I went and had dinner with Seth and Jordan Foote, and then another person.
Now I'm thinking about.
Did you try and bankrupt Seth that time too?
No, that was a different time.
Now I'm thinking about like the Rocket Pig with the toast.
I bet
a
it
Rocket
bangs.
Pig with toast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oof.
But that ad played, and I was in here. My mouth was. My legal pad is a mess right now. It's covered in drool.
This is not water. This is just drool.
It's just Rudy's been drooling into a cup. I've been drooling onto my legal pad, and then Beards has the bleeping audacity. If this was one of those things, if every radio show got like one F-bomb like a month, I would have used it then. Like in an R-rated movie, you get like, or a PG-13 movie, you get one F-word.
We should get one a show.
We should get one a week at least. So then Beards has the audacity, the unmitigated gall to say to Rudy and I've lived in Kansas City for 28 years and I've never had a burnt end. Twitter is ablaze. I tweeted that out. I tagged it with @Beards McFly, traitor and fraud. Seth Kaiser wants to fight you because that man lives in Minnesota. So getting burnt ends is an ordeal. We have had people offer to bring it to the studio tomorrow. I had someone offer.
Please, yes, please,
yes.
please, dear
Someone
God,
said they'd Venmo
please,
me the money to go pick it up.
Dear God, please.
Alec Lewis is staring off into the middle distance right now.
Sorry, Alec.
Curtis is beside himself.
Understand. Curtis like has a weekly like Joe's burnt ends like dinner plan basically.
The only bad experience I've ever had with burnt ends is the one time I tried to snort them and they're just too big.
My bad experience is like at the end when I've had the last one and there's no more and I'm just like, wait, why didn't you just be there?
So Beards, here's the thing. Here's the backstory. Here's the backstory on Z-Man on Twitch. Z-Man with a bunch of numbers said, F Rocket Pig, Z-Man all day. And then Darth Maul Dad said, Rudy, make me a chat mod to keep these hooligans in line.
We do go. Eventually, we're going to have to, we'll make some mods.
Listen, we're so divided as a country. Can we unify over that the Rocket Pig and the Z-Man are both good? Everyone except for, can we unify against Beards?
Yes. I think we can all unify there.
Beards eats 7 foods on a rotation. That's too high.
Yeah.
4 foods, steak, fried chicken. I'm counting French fries in there as an additional thing, and then ham sandwiches from wonderful establishments like Good Sense.
Can I adjust a little bit? So
Sure.
I would just say kind of probably potatoes, because my guess is with steak he has some sort of potato as the side, right? So with
When's
chicken,
the last time you ate a loaded baked potato, Beards?
Never.
I don't know if I'm not saying baked potato.
Sorry. Did you say never?
Yeah, you heard me.
You've just never had a baked potato?
What do you eat with steak?
Nothing usually. You just have the steak.
When's the last time you had mashed potatoes?
Never.
You've never. No. Eat a bleep, Beards. Go out to the hallway right now and go eat a bleep. Go find a bleep and pick it up and eat it. Why is it on the ground? I don't know. You've never had.
Mushy. I can't do mushy.
You've never had a baked potato or mashed potatoes
No.
ever?
No.
You're 28?
Yeah.
I would say you eat like a child, but children
But
eat
children
mashed
love mashed potatoes. You're not going to like burnt ends either because they're a little soft. It's kind of a softer.
They're so tender.
They're wonderful. They'll melt in your mouth, but I think melting in your mouth might be like a drawback for you.
I didn't say I was proud of the fact that I haven't had burnt ends. I just haven't had them yet.
But so I was giving all that backstory before we got derailed by the potato thing.
Which honestly I think is more wild because like
absolutely.
Yeah, right? Like,
Absolutely.
and not having mashed potatoes.
You've got to
is
accidentally
more
have
wild.
mashed potatoes at some
Yeah.
point.
I mean, maybe as a kid, but I don't remember that.
Oh man. Goodness gracious.
But so Beards eats like that, right? That's so with that context, how have you've never just gone into a bar because we've had barbecue together.
Yeah.
Not a tremendous number of times. It's usually barbecue that we're dipping chicken fingies in.
Is it the place that we go to literally called
Burnt Ends Barbecue?
I think we've been there once together.
Oh my goodness.
Well, yeah, it's because they don't. I don't think they have a chicken fingies kids meal with crispy potatoes.
Make it ribs.
But so you've just never had whenever you've eaten barbecue, you love Beamers.
Mm-hmm.
You've preached their gospel. Just get ribs there.
Yep.
Just every time.
Yeah.
You've never thought at any of these barbecue places in Kansas City.
I don't know if Beamers has.
Maybe they
burnt ends.
don't. But you've lived in the Kansas City area for nearly 30 years, and you've never thought one time, let me mess around and get some burn-ins this time just to try something different. Of course, no, of course. And the answer is no, of course not, because that's just not your speed.
But it's not even that. It's just like at some point there wasn't like, not a buffet, but like where you had multiple things to choose from, where you could get ribs and also throw some burn-ins on there, right? Like where like there was just like a large order of barbecue, like that maybe like your parents picked up or something.
Yeah, we've had free burnt-ins in this room across the hall here before.
It never was like, I'm going to have one of these.
I have so much Chiefs audio that I'm like, we're going to get through. I got like 15 audio clips.
No, we're not getting to that. We're not getting to that.
And Pierre, and you might get to it after talk to Ryan if I've settled down.
Somebody please send burn-ins, please.
And here's the thing. If I'm going to get in trouble, here's what I'll say is I think burn-ins might be my favorite. They're my favorite of like the Z-Man things. I think because they are a little squishy, and very tender.
So good.
The Texas toast is a great counter to them. You get a little crunch back into it.
Yeah.
But if I was going to have a plate of barbecue meat, I would probably, I don't know. I might be tempted by brisket over
I like brisket. Brisket's pretty good.
Brisket's very good.
Just as like a just plate to fork to mouth situation, but I'm a big sandwich guy, and the burn-in sandwiches are always incredible. But it just seems insane that you've just never thought like, well, everyone talks about these crazy little jelly cubes of meat. I'm gonna give it a shot. That just never.
I mean, more recently, yeah. I just haven't had it yet. That's all.
You're not boycotting it.
No, of course not.
You can't say "of course not" indignantly when you've had 28 years to try it. You've had
and let's be honest, is he going to make the necessary steps to fix this? I don't know.
Yeah.
My guess is next time he goes into a barbecue place, he's just gonna get ribs again.
I mean, ribs are pretty good.
That's the thing, though.
Yeah, ribs are pretty good, but burn-ins are magic.
Here's where we go full circle here, and this is when I go from being furious at Beards to being jealous of Beards.
Can I say something real fast? It's
Sure.
a YouTube comment from Garrett. Going back to what I said to Josh a few weeks back, someone slapped the bleep out of Beards. How can he not ever had burnt ends?
I like that Garrett wrote the word bleep.
Oh, man.
Z-Man on Twitch says, I literally have a not small number of pounds of burnt ends being shipped to me as we speak. Here's where I go from being furious at Beards McFly to being jealous of Beards.
Oh, I know you're going.
This dude loves 8 things.
It's not where I thought you were going. I thought you were going to go with the he still gets to have burnt ends for the first time.
No, I've let that go.
We've all lost that magic.
It's been a long time since I've had burnt ends because barbecue place I typically go. In fact, I actually had a burnt end sandwich at a place. So at one point mid-pandemic, that was a little underwhelming and not any of our sponsors.
In general, eating out has at any place that's not like a fast food place, it's just become more rare because it's just pandemic happens.
But this is where I get jealous of Beards. Beards loves 8 things. And then he's good. He's just good with it.
That's true.
Beards is not out here chasing bliss. He's got it, and it comes in a Slim Chickens box.
Who needs heaven when you're in it?
That's right.
Beards
He's
is in
just
his heaven.
always he can look at steaks on Reddit while working. He's engaged. His family hasn't disowned him.
Engaged as a married, not engaged with the show.
No,
Gotcha.
don't be
Gotcha.
silly. No. He is betrothed. he is betrothed and disengaged with the show. And he loves fried chicken and excellent TV shows with terrible endings and broken video games.
Checks out.
That's what Beards loves, those things. And he's good.
Checks out.
I can't even really. I know what Rudy does in his extremely limited free time to a decent extent.
Yeah, like I'm a very routine oriented person. I like to try to have a routine going, and I follow it pretty. I'm okay with adjusting my routine, but like when I like to have a routine, right?
Right. Beards, I just assume that he's eating chicken or playing Red Dead, Cyberpunk, or The Witcher. If I can't see him, I have
Actually, it's
object
Borderlands 3 right now.
I have object permanence issues with beards. Whenever he disappears, he just sort of goes into this like beard sort of elevated state. I assume it's very weird. This is one of the most self-involved segments I know we've ever done, and it's like Super Bowl week and stuff. But
the people had to know about this.
You've got to know that Beards is a pervert.
Here's the thing. We saw the Spotify things. You spend hours and hours and days and weeks and months of your time listening to us. And you have to know the truth behind the people who you're listening to.
That's right.
Because if you can't trust
we owe that
us,
to you.
Then we're not doing a good radio
Who
show.
can you trust if
Who
you
can
can't trust us?
You can't trust us. And Beards is a pervert.
Darth Maul Dad just said, "Can we impeach Beards?"
Okay, we can. Yes. It takes a majority, right? 60%?
It takes a super majority, I think.
Two out of three, that's 66%. I think we're good.
It's that Troy Aikman math.
Now, can we remove him from office?
No.
No,
That's true. Yes.
We can't get him gone.
We can impeach Beards. Getting him actually removed from the board really much
idea.
Out of our hands.
I don't know if it's a bad idea. We just can't
You want
do
to run
anything
two
about
shows
it.
at the same time?
How have you never had mashed potatoes? It's just crazy. Like,
by the way, Beards, I have.
What?
This month or last month.
Yeah,
that one's really wild. Like, I mean, I'm sure, like, as like a 2-year-old, he's had it right, because like, what parent doesn't just plop some mashed potatoes in front of a 2-year-old? But like in his life that he like remembers, right? Like in the life where he has made decisions for himself. Just never.
Somebody tweeted outraged fans on Twitter, Beards McFly edition. And then also the same person who was once a friend of the show and is now dead to the show, even though he had the Toast Z-Man recommendation for me.
R.I.P.
He tweeted from the great beyond into the response to me saying that he's never had mashed potatoes or a baked potato. They responded, it responded, I'm starching to hate him.
Darth Maul Dad says on Twitch, all those in favor say aye. So chat, say aye.
I'm starching to hate him.
Oh, Metzel, who always says hashtag we are all beards.
Yo.
Says fine. A.
Whoa, boy.
Oof. Beards lost his biggest supporter.
You've lost your most devoted fans, Beards, have turned away from you now.
Some are saying this will be a rough one to ever come back from. Some are saying.
Beards has really delivered a potato low blow. Well, oh, shut up, Beards! You can't say anything. You can't say anything about anyone else ever again.
I think we have a new Twitch user. I don't recognize this username, but I just have to point it out. Crunchy Waffle Boy with an I. That is such a good name.
Beards, have you ever had a waffle?
Yes.
The way he said yes, I don't know if I believe it.
I think he's just tired of being bullied. What's the last time you ate a fruit or vegetable? Just boom, quick, tell me now.
Probably last week.
Probably?
Yeah.
Which one?
Celery.
What?
Yeah.
I assume with wings.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't hate that move because celery with wings.
The last?
I really like
no,
celery.
it works.
Very,
When's the
very,
last
very,
time you ate a meal that was majority a fruit or a vegetable?
Oh, I don't know.
Take the show with you wherever you go. Listen live on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app and 810WHB.com.
Hey, it's former Jayhawk Greg Gurley. Kansas fans and alumni are in every city and state we play. If your favorite Jayhawk fans are missing home, send them some Joe's KC barbecue. Nothing beats home court and championship barbecue on game day. Joe's will ship anywhere in the U.S. It's easy to reheat, and it tastes just as good at home as it does at Joe's. You can ship all of Joe's favorites, like ribs, brisket, burn ends, and even the famous Z-Man. Ordering is easy, and it's just a few clicks away at joeskc.com.
Haven't made Valentine's plans yet? Let the Elms help you spoil that special someone this year. On Saturday the 13th and Sunday the 14th, get a 4-course dinner menu with a glass of champagne for only $60 a person, plus tax and gratuity. Turn the night into a full getaway and book a room and spa appointment too. Reservations are required online at theelmshotelandspa.com or call 816-630-5500. That's 816-630-5500. Located in Excelsior Springs at 401 Regent Street, the Elms Hotel and Spa, a destination hotel.
Harry's Razors just came out with their sharpest blades ever. But unlike other razor companies, they're not charging you more. Harry's new sharper blades are still as low as $2 each. You heard me right, just $2. How do they do it? Harry's owns a German factory that's been honing razor blades for 100 years. They source their steel from Sweden and own the entire manufacturing process, from research and development to the factory floor. It allows them to keep the prices lower. How confident are they? A 100% quality guarantee. You'll see it at harrys.com. Blades are even delivered directly to you. No getting unmasked and standing in line. They're delivered straight to your door, with or without a subscription. And right now, Harry's has a great offer for my listeners. New customers get $5 off a Harry's trial set when you use the promo code PETRO, P-E-T-R-O, at harrys.com. That's a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3, plus free shipping. That's razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for $3, shipped to you for free. Only at harrys.com, only with promo code PETRO.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Tim Grunhard. I love being a part of a winning team. If you're looking for a great place to work and want to help children and families find hope and joy, the Kids TLC in Olathe is hiring teen players. Visit kidsdlc.org and attend one of the upcoming recruiting events. Come join the Kids TLC team for a game-changing career move. Visit kidstlc.org for more information.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Jeff Briggs with Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Thank you for a fantastic 2020 and trust in Victory to buy and service your vehicles during these unique times. Folks, Victory is your #1 customer-rated dealership in the Metro with 4.8 stars on Facebook and 2,200 Google reviews at a robust 4.7-star rating. Come by the dealership for a no-hassle demonstration from one of my expert certified sales managers and see why we come so highly recommended. Just released, the 392 Hemi and electric vehicle Jeep Wrangler are now available for order. The all-new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L is here, and it's a showstopper. Don't forget about the 2021 Motor Trend Truck of the Year, the 700-horsepower Ram TRX. Come drive the Jeep course, say hello, and see for yourself why we're all excited for 2021. Visit us at Kansas City's only automotive outlet mall, the Legends Auto Plaza, on the southeast corner of 435 and Parallel, just east of Nebraska Furniture Mart, or online at victorymotorskc.com, where our first price is better than their last.
There's only one station in Kansas City big enough to bring you all the Chiefs coverage you need. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
Keep it on Sports Radio 810 for all the latest.
We've got a whole week of Super Bowl coverage coming your way live from Tampa.
As the Chiefs get set to run it back. Follow all the action right here on your home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. Sports Radio 810 WHB. You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Aaron, who's been on fire, by the way, tweeting about how this show, he said that Almost Entirely Sports is like the Titanic actively seeking out the iceberg.
With Joshua Brisco.
I mean, man, just what a disastrous show we're having.
And we're not
I mean, we're kind of enjoying it.
Oh, yeah, I am.
But at the same time, we recognize, like,
you might not be.
There's the iceberg. Here we come.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Beards, are you afraid that Seth might try to fight you? Or that that Seth's wife, Jazz, might try to fight you? Because she'll bleep you up.
I hope somebody fights him.
I don't want to fight Seth for sure. Like, that's not a battle that I'm seeking out, because I think
he's got that country strong. Like, wasn't he chopping down a tree or removing a stump one day?
He tackled a tree,
yeah,
and he fought someone at a Little League baseball game.
Seth is both dad and
Sort of.
country strong. And
Yeah.
Minnesota strong.
He's Minnesota
He got a
for
little
sure.
bit of it all.
Yeah, he's also got
And he's got like an army of like little animals.
Oh God, yeah, and he's got there's
And
just
children.
there's like a crazy little like gear that he could shift to that I just don't think he's actually shifted to for like
a long time, but like so I remember Michael Strahan said this once where like because he was basically asked because he's such like a nice guy like in person right like he does talk show TV but like he's a defenseman and he's like
he will kill Brett Favre but he will make Kelly Ripa just giggle for
and
now
he
or
was
whatever,
like I can flip that switch anytime I want to. I just know to only flip that switch on the field. If Seth like had like that outlet right like if he was a football player Seth could absolutely flip the switch. He just doesn't have that outlet so he knows he has to keep that switch flipped down.
My concern is that if Seth did get an opportunity to flip that switch, he might rip someone's throat out on like a flag
100%.
football game, you know?
Because that switch hasn't been turned on for a long time.
That's gonna be a power surge. Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody on Facebook. I'm trying to see if I can get the actual name.
Is this from my mom?
This is from Mrs. Brisco.
Yeah.
Beards, your body needs greens. At least get a powder supplement like Primal Greens, which just makes me laugh because Beard's drinking a supplement of any kind.
What are you? Mom, listen. I know you're trying to help him out.
To a healthy body.
I know you're trying to help. Like we're also
it's
trying.
All right. It's all.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
all
it's
factually correct.
Yeah, it's fine. Yes. Like. Chaotic Warrior on Twitch said, "Now don't go a bridge too far, Josh. I couldn't tell you last time I ate a predominantly fruit or veggie meal. But like, if you've eaten, I'm giving you credit for like a banana at breakfast. I'm giving you credit for a yogurt parfait with some strawberries in it. I had a salad for lunch. Beards, have you ever eaten a salad? No.
Just the other day,
they make chicken strip salads.
They do,
but they also make chicken strips by themselves.
So
and why would you?
Exactly. What do I need that for?
But, so like the other day I was at my dad's and I had like he had pork cutlets, and so I had that with a baked potato and like a salad. You can have like it's a predominantly meat meal, right? But like there's a lot of vegetables in
This
there.
is a
And it's
huge.
so good. They go together so well.
This is a huge. I love mashed potatoes. That one really bleeps me up, dude. That one's the one. Like I'm kind of like stagger stepping on that one.
I'm a big fan of baked potatoes and stuff, but
Also
I understand when somebody's not a huge baked potato fan or scalloped potatoes, right? Like any other
I love scalloped potatoes.
I mean, I did too. I think they're probably my favorite form of potatoes. But I get it, right?
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes is supposed to be like the thing that like 99.9% of the country is able to just like agree upon.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they do. Beers is just in that 0.1 perverted percent.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the 1% of the 1% of people who refuse to eat vegetables. I had broccoli like 2 days ago. You know, I think I've had a vegetable. This is a real high risk, high reward proposition for a potential advertiser. Honestly, I'm not sure it's a good idea, but recently, girlfriend Renee found like a really excellent coupon for one of the meal kits. You know, they ship the ingredients and then you cook them.
Mm-hmm.
I think pretty much all of them include a vegetable.
I've been thinking about diving into them, but I've been kind of thinking about getting the ones that are already come like essentially they're pre-cooked, where you just like it's like I don't have to go through the process because I don't really have the time for that.
Right. Well, so the thing about the ones that just ship you the ingredients,
which seems great.
It'll teach you how to cook kind of by accident sometimes.
Yeah.
Here's the amount of seasoning. Do this.
You learn the processes.
Renee made a salmon thing. Where it ended up. I think it was like.
Sounds good.
I think it was just like butter in the pan, but she flipped it and it ended up having like this crispy kind of top to it, but it wasn't breaded. I mean, it was just like a fillet of salmon, but it was crispy on the outside. It was incredible.
I haven't had salmon in a long time.
It was very, very good.
Beard, have you ever had a fish?
Yeah, I like fish.
Salmon.
I don't care for salmon, but I like fish.
Have you had salmon?
Yes.
Salmon. Okay. We're good.
You could even go through and kind of like select ones you think you might like or might not like, Beards.
Mm-hmm.
But the high risk, high reward thing is that one of these boxes they can advertise on the show and then just ship, ideally all of us, but especially you, their stuff. And they're like, all right, what we're basically working with is we're sending you kind of the picky eaters box. And so the first one is steak with some vegetable. The second one is some sort of chicken thing with some bread. You know, then there's like I think the first one that Renee made was like an Italian chicken sandwich, sort of a Philly cheesesteak kind of style thing. It was wonderful. and then maybe it kind of expands your horizons some bit. My concern is that if it backfires, it's going to be a very bad ad to say, like, well, Josh and Rudy liked their food, but Beards would not eat a green bean. So I don't know if it's high risk, high reward, or high risk, no reward, because it's just going to end up.
I mean, I'd be fine with taking that chance, though, company out there. If you want to take that chance, well, we're here for it.
Yeah, I would be thrilled. Rudy and I could give some great endorsements.
Yeah, we won't let Beards talk. Don't worry.
But Beards needs the endorsement of a steak company or a fried chicken place. But really one of like 3 fried chicken places. Maybe slightly more. 4 or 5.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Beers is ever going to say no to fried chicken, right?
So
but
you
like,
went.
He has it, but like, we know where he wants it to be from.
On your birthday last year, Beards, you went to Stroud's.
Yeah.
What did you get with your chicken?
I don't remember. That was
probably French fries. I assume.
Probably.
With like a plate of fried chicken at like a grown-up restaurant.
Yeah.
Yep.
The mashed potatoes thing. Burn-ins are kind of specific, right? Maybe you just get brisket every time you never, whatever.
It's
mashed potatoes.
It's crazy, but like the mashed potatoes thing it's 10 times crazier.
I mean, I'm just sort of laying on the ground staring at the ceiling. We'll talk about the Chiefs with Ryan Tracy next.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, Seren Petro here. Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T or something else like sleep apnea or even low thyroid. Schedule a complete health assessment right now at Low T Center. They offer monitored, self-injected home testosterone treatment for $135 a month, self-pay. So if you've been feeling tired, grumpy, have been gaining weight, have a loss of muscle, don't wait. Go to the lowtcenter.com right now to book your appointment. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Hey guys, looking for a new rewarding career? Check out the Operating Engineers Local 101 Apprentice Program. In addition to paid on-the-job training with union construction companies, you'll learn to operate all types of heavy equipment, including cranes, bulldozers, backhoes, graders, scrapers, trenchers, loaders, compactors, pavers, asphalt and concrete plants, drilling and boring machines, and other specialized construction machinery. You'll receive great benefits and a pension plan as well. Call today 816-640-2336. That's 816-640-2336. Hey Kansas City fans, get your Chiefs limited edition Rawlings football now by calling 1-800-345-2868 or by visiting nicosports.com. Each fully engraved football is priced at only $99 and comes with an individually numbered certificate of authenticity. The football features their AFC Championship, Chiefs team history, logos, full season schedule with opponents, and a summary of Mahomes' accomplishments. It will be automatically upgraded to Super Bowl champs if they win. Fans can order now by calling 1-800-345-2868 or by visiting nicosports.com. That's 1-800-345-2868 or by visiting nicosports.com. A portion of the proceeds will be donated to Cornerstones of Care. So Kansas City fans, get your limited edition Chiefs Rawlings football now. Call 1-800-345-2868, 1-800-345-2868, or online at nicosports.com, nikcosports.com.
Hey, it's Kevin Keatsman for Roberts Robinson, Chevrolet Buick GMC, and Excelsior Springs. Online at robertsrobinson.com. I got to be honest with you. One of the great things about representing Roberts Robinson, Chevrolet Buick GMC is the perks. You know, Mike's a good dude. I mean, these are really good people that treat everyone well. They've been exceptional to me. And he called me up and he said, hey, you know, we do this shop, click, and drive, and we deliver cars right to people if that's what they want to do. Or we'll service their own cars by driving into their house and picking them up. He says, how about if I take a Sierra Denali and drop it in your driveway and you drive it for a few days? I said, hey, you don't have to do that for me. And he said, I want to do it. I said, great. The second I got in this bad boy, I took it right over to my buddy's house, the guy you can't mention on the radio. He's got a Sierra Denali that he's had for several years. And I just went over there and rubbed it right in his face. I said, look at this baby I got from Roberts Robinson. He looked at me all cross-eyed. I loved it. It's a great perk of this deal. But you know what? You can get the same great perks because they treat everyone great at Roberts Robinson, Chevrolet Buick GMC in Excelsior Springs. Online at robertsrobinson.com.
Rock your home with new tops from Kansas City's best countertop fabricator, Rock Tops. They custom fabricate and install stone surfaces that will make you fall in love with your home. Making homes look incredible is Rock Tops' thing. Being nice just comes naturally. Rock Tops offers carry-out samples and virtual or in-home appointments. Call 913-782-0802 or go to rocktopskc.com. Mention 810 Rocks to receive 10% off right now.
Sports Radio 810 WHB is your home for the best Chiefs coverage. Hi, everyone. This is Kevin Harlan. Listen all week to live Chiefs coverage with head coach Andy Reid, quarterback Patrick Mahomes, tight end Travis Kelce, and the rest of your favorite Chiefs players. Then, listen to 24 hours of pregame before listening to me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner as the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Super Bowl 55, Sunday at 5 p.m. on Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
Hello there, I'm Mark Robbins, and we've got some midweek upsets in top 25 college basketball. In fact, one just ended moments ago. St. John's with a home victory over third-ranked Villanova, a Big East battle that goes to St. John's 70-59. Earlier, number 5 Houston beaten at East Carolina 82-73. Huge win for the Pirates, who've been dealing with COVID-19 issues, including not having head coach Joe Dooley for a while. And after this win, coach says being back, coaching in practice, well, that's a big deal.
You know, at one point I'd missed like 15 of 23 or 24 practices. You feel bad as the coach because you're not there to help the guys, and it's a different voice, it's a different rhythm, and we've had a little continuity for about 4 or 5 days, and that's, if you get a little continuity, I think that helps your guys' confidence, and the continuity gets these guys in a little bit of a rhythm.
That's Joe Dooley on Freddie and Fitzsimmons on ESPN Radio. More surprises. Pitt over number 16 Virginia Tech. South Carolina wins at 22nd ranked Florida. NBA right now on ESPN, and of course the app. Third quarter, 7.5 to go, and New Orleans and Phoenix are going at it. Right now, it's the Pelicans up 63-57. Earlier, Dallas over Atlanta, 122-116, snapping the Mavs' 6-game losing streak. And in the NHL, Boston down 3-1 in the third, rallies to beat the Flyers 4-3 in overtime. A hat trick for David Pastrnak of the Bruins.
Coming up Thursday, I've said it all along that the Dolphins would be the best fit for Deshaun Watson. And we'll find out how Tua Tagovailoa is handling all the trade rumors at 9:15 a.m. Eastern. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on ESPN Radio.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
You know what you do after you run the ball on 1st and 10 and you get 0 yards? You run that ball again. You establish that run.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Super Bowl week continues. We've had a ton of topics come to the forefront. We've had very weird storylines, like finding out that Beards has lived in Kansas City his whole life and never had burnt ends. And, we've just been derailed by any number of things. And maybe we can talk about some actual Chiefs stuff now with Ryan Tracy. You can follow him on Twitter at Ryan Tracy NFL. There's a whole bunch of stuff. You can check out the Athletic Matrix, which we talk to him about every year around draft time. RGR Football on YouTube, the Locked On Chiefs podcast. You can find all of that stuff through his Twitter at Ryan Tracy NFL. But Ryan, I know you're in Colorado, not exactly the burnt-in capital of the world, and I imagine that you're going to have some terrible, terrible things to say to Beards right now.
I'm not going to kick him in when it's down, just here to derail the rest of the conversation.
All right, fair enough.
Tell him about the potatoes.
He's also said he's in his adult life has not had mashed potatoes or baked potatoes.
That's it. I draw the line.
It's crazy. How is that even possible? But that's our Beards. That's our Beardsy. He's a strange fellow with strange eating habits. Andy, I'm gonna try to focus on the football things to just sort of distract myself from the horrors that have struck us over the last half hour or so. But Ryan, enormous picture right now. How have you enjoyed this version of Super Bowl week as opposed to last year's? Things feel different because the Chiefs are back in the Super Bowl instead of being in their first one in 50 years. There've been a ton of little stories that we'll talk about, but how have you enjoyed the big picture this week?
The shine comes off of it pretty fast, doesn't it?
It sure does.
For me, having not gone down to Florida the first time, it's not that much different, except I think I have better Zoom etiquette now.
Hopefully we all do. I think most people definitely do. But yeah, I get that's true. And I was just in Kansas City last year as well, and have been this year again, obviously, because we're doing the post-game show out of the studio and everything. But today, and obviously everything is impacted by COVID. But this week we end up with this crazy firecracker of a story that the two Chiefs players on the COVID reserve list, Daniel Kilgore and Demarcus Robinson, were there because of contact with a barber who had plans to give 20 haircuts inside the Chiefs facility, including Patrick Mahomes. I would like to know your story of your worst haircut that you can think of, and then also what you thought whenever you saw that news coming through, because I read it like a horror story.
Oh, the worst haircut. I'm glad she can't listen right now.
Oh, no!
So I was getting ready for this job interview, and everything trimmed up nice. I just needed her to take, and block off the back of my neck, right?
Mm-hmm.
She sneezes, and I get the reverse mohawk right down the middle.
Oh, no.
So, had to complete the job. I went dick and all. Needless to say, was not hired. Probably a little scary. So I didn't see the haircut coming.
Wow, yeah, that was a real kind of watershed moment for me putting trust into the hands of girlfriend Renee. Because for the majority of my life, I could go to my mom for that, and I knew that she was not going to give me a reverse mohawk. But Renee's aptitudes, don't necessarily lie in the hairstyling game. You said she sneezed? It was a sneeze that caused this issue?
Yeah, it's literal. So I got coated in the back of the neck and striped.
Oh,
it was great.
Oh man,
that's love, buddy. I hate to tell you, that's love.
Yeah, that is. Wow, that is horrifying. Well, in the non-haircut department, we've only had 100,000 storylines show up from this game already. We've got the quarterback head-to-head. We've got all these matchups that I want to kind of work down the line with you on. But the big picture, Mahomes, Brady, legacy talk, it's all a little silly. It's all a little overblown. But also, I really do think that this game, for both of these quarterbacks, is probably going to impact how we talk about both of them for the next decade. Do you think that's true, and have you given that much thought this week?
I've tried not to give it much thought. I do think it's true. You're right. But I will say this. The legendary and historical implications of this 60 minutes of football is weighing a lot heavier on the Tampa quarterback than the KC quarterback.
Interesting. What?
I think it has to.
Yeah, what plays into that for you then?
Because at this point, there's a whole lot under the radar, right? There's the whole, hey, I got out of New England, and I still put together a championship run. There's the whole, I am the greatest because of that. And the other kids, yeah, I'm going to have fun and try to win again. It doesn't seem like the same kind of gravity for these two guys.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, Mahomes has a lot more runway left also to figure out, what's he going to look like at the end of his career. There's still a lot more meat on the bone there. But I imagine that if you have tried to spend less time on that aspect, there are a lot of things that you've spent a lot more time on. I've got a handful, but I'm curious what your favorite what your favorite thing to look ahead to has been as we have been sort of in this infinite feeling sort of 2-week period.
I've spent most of my week just, writing things out in cursive in, sky signs. I'm eyeing everyone that I can find to let JPT know who Mike Rivers is. That's what it comes down to. You're going to see it in a few days. You might as well get to know each other.
They also played each other a few weeks ago. That was one of the strangest quotes because, you guys played each other already. And I would love to know how you're feeling about the offensive line right now. I have had a couple of times now, I've basically asked our friend Seth Kaiser to give me his opinion again because he's feeling pretty good. He loves Wisniewski, so having him at guard and Wiley kicking out the tackle doesn't shake him any. Obviously, this team has been dealing with offensive line issues all year long. More so in injuries than in performance. There have been moments where it hasn't looked terribly good, but we're talking about 4 out of 5 starters either out of position or missing from this lineup from week 1 to now. All of the talent that the Buccaneers have across their line. How do you feel about this starting 5 that we're expecting to see in the Super Bowl and what their chances are going to be against the Bucs pass rush?
I go out of my way, so if no one will tell Seth, I try not to agree with him on air. But unfortunately, I think people are overly worried about the right-hand side of the line and not the left. Because I personally feel that Wiley played his best snaps this season at tackle against a guy, I think, for New Orleans that is better than the 2 he's going to play on Sunday. So I think it comes back to Shaq Barrett having the speed advantage over Remmers, and I think that if they're smart, they're going to try to slant a little bit towards him and see if they can get him just a little bit back on his outside heel and take advantage of that.
I'm kind of going back to the Seth Will one more time. This is something that he has said that I'm taking his word for because he knows more about this than I do, and I think that you are going to have more insight on it than possibly both of us combined. The question that a lot of people have brought to the table is, so what are they going to do to help if it's Remmers who needs it, if it's Wiley who needs it, wherever the weakness ends up showing up? What do the Chiefs typically do to try to benefit the guys who do need that help? Obviously, they haven't been able to just leave Mitch Schwartz on an island this year as they used to do whenever he was out there and healthy. Fisher, similarly, now obviously being out of the lineup completely. Something that Seth has said is that that the Chiefs aren't a team that will just keep a tight end in to help block because you want Travis Kelce running his routes. You want him out of the slot if you can. What kind of smaller things can they do as opposed to just leaving a running back in the backfield or leaving a tight end on the line to try to disrupt the pass rush a little bit without sort of mortgaging what they want to be able to do offensively in the aggressiveness department?
It comes down to working as a unit. Are they going to slide the pocket and let everybody shift one direction towards whoever they think on the outside is the bigger threat, right? But I think there's a little danger in that because Vea's okay inside, but Sue's inside. And he had a pretty good day last time out against the interior of this line. So I'm a little bit reticent about trying to shift everyone. So I am leaning more towards, not the tight end, but when people look back at this game and start asking why did Darrell Williams play so much? My guess is going to be because he's the one that is going to protect that backside on the second level.
I mean, clearly, I thought that Le'Veon Bell was going to get those third down snaps whenever he ended up getting fully into the offense, and that just never happened. Performance, injury, whatever. Darrell does seem to be the guy that they have all that faith in. Why is it, do you think, that he has maintained that role? I mean, he's been in the system for longer than everybody else in that backfield, which is wild. But is it that? What makes him physically the right guy to be reading the defenses and then making that play?
The reading part comes from putting in the study time. That's not a physical thing. That's understanding where pressure comes from. That goes all the way back to LSU. He's really good at that. And I think a forgotten factor is that when he was at LSU, he ran out of the Wildcat when they went to it. So he can read from back there in a comfortable situation and understand more of what's going on in front of him, I think. But I think it comes more down to the physical part. And between the two of them, Lev versus Darrell, I think the age is seriously a factor. But I think it's that he's willing. This is how he's made himself valuable to this team by executing pass block with A, abandon, and B, with pretty good precision. So I think that falls back into his strengths. And he's going to maximize when he can get the ball in his hands. But he knows the surest way to get off the field is to not do his job in pass block.
So with all that being said, What's sort of your level of concern if it's 1 to 10 or percentages or whatever, or if it's just words, not numbers? Because even though I like numbers, it really boils it all down. I can just write down 7, and then I know what I'm supposed to believe now. But what's your level of concern in terms of what the pass rush might try to do to the Chiefs, understanding all the things that the Chiefs may do to try to counteract that, move the pocket? Sounds like Mahomes' toe is good to go. How concerned are you that will be something that will have some meaningful disruption to the Chiefs' offense?
Let me put it this way: they had a modicum of success last time. The Chiefs still pulled off that victory.
Yeah.
We still saw how many air yards there were in that ball game. And they got significant pressure. That's not to diminish what they're able to do. Without Fish and with the other changes, that does go down some.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, like, on a 10 scale, I was maybe worried that game at a 5, and maybe I'm at a 6 now.
I can live with that. I can make that work. If they do perform at a 6 or a 4, 5, or 6, somewhere in that range, then the deep passing game, really anything they want to do in the passing game, I imagine should be functioning pretty much according to plan. I'm going to be excited to see Carlton Davis on the field once again because I have good memories of Carlton Davis playing defense against the team that I'm rooting for. But that secondary has some talent. They've gotten a little healthier. If the pass rush is getting home every once in a while, or it's being a little disruptive in that regard, how do you feel about what the Chiefs offense is going to try to do against that Buccaneers secondary?
I think it's going to be interesting, and I think everybody is excited to see Carlton Davis play against these Chiefs except Carlton Davis. So, you got to take pressures with a grain of salt, a pound of salt.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike what he said the other day, I don't think they're going to stick with the same old plan. I think Todd Bowles is a man that can learn his lesson and admit I had to change in order to try to combat this team. I think it's way more likely that we see predominantly what we saw in the second half of their first meeting than what we saw in the first half. And that's not to say they're not going to have man snaps on Tyreek. I think that they will. But I don't think we're going to see a lot of single high safety unless that's a pre-snap look that turns into 2 deep. I think 2 deep safeties is the way they have to try to play this game. And that becomes even more cumbersome when both your guys have been hurting it. I'm not 100% sold on Whitehead being able to play. But that said, if they do come out there and do what I think that they're going to do in playing cover 4 and cover 6 predominantly, 6 that so maybe you can go try to get somebody manned up. I don't think that it's going to be getting somebody's face and trying to take chances like that again. I do feel that where they're going to be susceptible is going to be right there behind the linebackers in the middle. And that's not to say that Devin White can't cover Travis Kelce, because Devin's good at throwing smoke too. And it's not going to be Lafayette David trying to follow Travis Kelce.
Right.
So I think the secondary is going to be there. There's going to be options there, especially when you get those skinny posts that they can get out to from the slots in particular. But the question comes back to, do they have time to actually execute those? I expect a rhythm passing game in the first 15. I expect them to take the unders, work those medium crossers, and just try to move the ball so they can kind of relax the safeties in particular, but the corners as well. And once you get them relaxed, then you're going to have opportunity to play action or RPO and really take your shots there.
Well, and so this, I don't remember when or where I said this, but I'm pretty sure I've said it at some point this week. I love the Chiefs' deep passing game, right? The deep shots that they can take, whenever those land, they're absolutely devastating. Just a right hook that drops you every time. I'm a huge fan of that. I can't say that often enough. But I think that there's at least an argument, and tell me if you disagree with this. I'm very much open, but I think that there's an argument to be made that intermediate stuff is where the Chiefs' offense is actually most deadly, because it just seems like it almost never doesn't work. And I think there's always going to be a spot where the offense has an advantage because they have Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and all these weapons. But you talk about the speed of Tyreek Hill. Maybe we used to, maybe we still do, think about Hill as the straight line speed downfield because those can be so devastating. But he is impossible to cover even in smaller spaces. Travis Kelce, maybe even more so. So if the Buccaneers say, all right, we're going to make you beat us 6, 7, 8 yard passes at a time, I would sign up for that in a heartbeat. Do you think that's fair?
Maybe not the 6-7 because I think their linebackers can cover to that range. I think it does have to be more around the 11-13 mark just to eat up that distance with your speed. But you're absolutely right. The biggest skill that Tyreek Hill has is changing direction, not his flat-out speed.
Yeah.
That's the icing on the cake. And just like he did, 2 weeks ago, when he takes an 8-yard inside pass and turns it into 70-plus yards because he just can't be caught.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter whether it's a field stretcher or not.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, the mesh play that we saw in the red zone that both he and Travis were wide open, right? You're going to see that again, but that's what most people think of in terms of an underneath pass game, right? Like completely horizontal. Chiefs are very good at getting that kind of medium 45-degree. You're getting depth while you're crossing. And that's what makes them the most deadly.
It just sort of hit me that it's been a little while since it's been, a good nearly a couple of weeks since we've seen the Chiefs play football, and I'm excited to see it again because that stuff is so much fun. But I want to talk to you about the other side of the ball and a few specific dudes on the other side of the ball. Juan Thornhill was a question mark and a discussion topic over the course of the season. His snap count was fluctuating, and he looked like he was looking pretty good against the Browns, and the dude was popping on the screen constantly against the Bills. He talked some this week about how he feels like he's 100%, not just physically but also mentally now, kind of for the first time starting in the playoffs. What did you see from him these last couple of games? How excited are you about where Thornhill is at this point, and do you think that jump from regular season into the playoffs has been evident to you as well?
It's definitely been evident, but it hasn't been as stark as I think a lot of folks have seen it. I think it's been a gradual ramping. I've seen him improve over the last few weeks. But I will say this, the basic thing, the big difference that I see from now versus, say, a couple weeks post-bye when they made the realization, like, we have to back him off or he's not going to make it through this season. I know he said the other day that he's 100%. If they had continued to play him, that was like 70%, 80% of the snaps like we saw prior to the bye week, I don't think he would have gotten it. I think he would have eventually had a breakdown. So that's important. But I think what you see now, especially in the last ball game, I thought it really came together, is that the hesitance is gone.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be – he felt like he was trying to cheat a little bit because maybe he didn't feel like he was 100% explosive before. And so he was inching around. It didn't look quite right. And quite frankly, he ended up playing, I think, close to a line of scrimmage in some games just situationally that put him in a bit of a bad spot. And so that hesitancy, I think, was maybe accentuated. But what you saw last week, playing the deep middle, to be able to go attack the ball not only outside the hash mark, but nearly to the sideline, that's what Juan Thornhill was before the injury. And that looks like he's back, if not 100%, I think he's in the 97 range at this point.
Yeah.
That's what we've been waiting for all season. For a team that really only lost one ball game during the season, to get that kind of deep coverage back can be a game changer.
I'm so happy to see that for him because I think the ramp up and then the losing the hesitance is a great way to put it because I think that's what's been shown. I think he would probably agree with that. I'm kind of going to just work my way around the secondary, and then we're going to get to some real big picture stuff. But L'Jarius Sneed keeps grabbing headlines. He keeps blitzing, something he has talked about never really doing in college. The dude was playing safety in college, and he was playing outside in the absence of Bashad Breeland early in the season. Then he breaks his collarbone. He comes back, and he's playing kind of that nickel role where he'll end up in the slot. He'll play some outside. He'll blitz and everything. He's just been so impressive so consistently this year, aside just from that window that he was out with injury. What have you made of what he's shown? I mean, I remember talking to you about Sneed right after they drafted him and some of the tools that he brought to the table, but what were your expectations for him preseason, week 2, week 3, and then where he's at right now?
Well, first, I was hopeful he would land on this roster.
Yes.
Pre-draft, he was my biggest climber. And I only found him because of his teammate, Amick Robertson, that I scouted on film. So it felt like a gold nugget that you just pulled out of a riverbank. And to see him not only land on the roster, but a lot of people forget that first couple of weeks where Spags was getting questions, and he was like, he's learning. It was very much protective of, he's not there yet. He's coming from a smaller school. I mean, La Tech's not a joke, but it's not Alabama. It's not LSU. So there was a conversion right there. And I felt like they were letting him come along slowly. And then by the time they actually got on the field, it kind of clicked. And you could see that he was running not like a hesitant rookie, but like somebody who's wary of what he's doing, but still able to let his instincts come out. And that's what really paid off for him a La Tech. But I didn't think he was going to be this good this fast. I will tell you this, and you mentioned the Matrix earlier. The athletic matrix kind of gives away some things about top-end capability, and then it's about the coaching staff coaching him up to get him there, right? He's there. In one season, he's gotten to that max because he was the best safety in that draft class. He was the number 2 corner if you put him in as a corner because he can do it all. Right? And I think that's something that when you're an instinctual athlete and you have that ability, you can kind of rely on it, and it gets you through. And I think, honestly, if he hadn't been hurt, if the collarbone hadn't happened, he might not have progressed as well. Because I think he might have hit the rookie wall. I think he might have had a few more things where as he gets into the season and things start to wear down physically, he might have been exposed a few times. So I think that mental adjustment that you're able to do when you're not actually practicing and you can just take the film room and learn and learn and learn, I think that really helped him. And now you see him, for a kid who didn't blitz, to pick it up and just say, okay, I'm going, I'm a rocket. And he's coming off the ball really nicely when he does it.
Yeah.
He's keeping it to himself for the most part beforehand, which is a skill in and of itself just to be able to hold off and disguise it. But the interesting thing for me that I learned this week is that he was a wide receiver in high school. And I didn't know that. And I think that also plays a bit of a role here now that I see what he's done in the past and coming off of his coverage assignment when he feels something coming. I think it's because he recognizes routes. It's really impressive, and it's just one more feather in the cap for Brett Veach, Ryan Poles, and Ryan Nutt, and everybody that scouted him and got him here. So he's going to be here for a long time, and I think they're going to be better off for it in the long run. Maybe more than any other rookie they've had in the last couple of years.
I'm glad you mentioned specifically that he was your number 2 corner in the athletic metrics. I was looking around. I realized I don't think I have the PDF on the computer that I have with me here. I think I have it on my computer at home. Because I believe not only is this, a W for everyone in the Chiefs scouting department, I hope you use Snead and Willie Gay to sell some athletic matrices this year. Because I remember both of them were, I think, top 2 in their position groups. Was it Willie Gay second?
No, Willie Gay was first above Isaiah Simmons by a hair. But
Okay.
First.
I knew it was between him and Simmons. Unbelievable.
There's definitely been more interest, so I do appreciate that, and thank you for remembering. It's going to be an interesting class this time, too, but I think that really just reinforces that when you have that ability, it isn't all of it, but it does show you what the top end can be if you can get them coached up.
And, man, I mean, having faith in the Chiefs' particular coaching staff right now would be a hard thing not to have. I mean, they've just been at so many levels, and so I wanted to, expand a little bit to, Trevarius Ward was kind of the guy last year that I think earned a lot of goodwill. And I'm thinking more even in just kind of the Twitterverse and sports talk realms and everything. You're like, maybe Ward's the guy that keeps taking more steps and growing more. And it seems like that's, maybe stagnated a little bit this year, or at least been, he's been fine. Bashaud Breeland has had some really nice games and a really nice season, it seems. But now we've talked about, I've mentioned at least all those guys except for Dan Sorensen, who is allowed to play a more fitting role with Thornhill back at full speed, and Tyrann Mathieu. And for me, I think maybe the most under-discussed and important part of this season for the Chiefs has been some of the steps we've seen from that secondary. What have you seen with them all as a unit, from Spags and the coaching to the development of the guys like Snead to guys like Breeland and Ward quietly doing a nice job with what they've been asked to do? How would you sort of rate what they've looked like so far up to this point, and then what that says about what might happen against a very talented Tampa Bay receiver group?
I like the way that you started that when you talk about them as a unit, because I think that's the biggest difference. I think Spags has put his faith in them, especially with a number of young players in both Snead and Thornhill. But credit to Dan Sorensen as well, because there was a time last season, the season before that, where every time you saw those pregame post pictures the players did, Dan's always with the linebackers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like he's shifted, and I think he's played better when asked to play deep.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's been more assignment sound as the up safety this year, too. And I think that all plays together.
Yeah.
I think that all is a cog within the secondary as a unit. And you have to understand that, Bashad's Bashad.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get called for some penalties,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to come up with some great plays. It's more of a seesaw. I feel like Ward's been pretty steady, but I do agree with you. I don't see the development continuing this season as much as we've seen in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But that, covered up by Tyron in the middle and having safeties fore and aft, really allows everything to come together. And then when you get in a pinch and you need somebody to help you out, instead of being able to come in and play at a level that isn't a dramatic drop-off,
Yeah.
that gives you guys that, as a unit, are playing together and playing some of the best ball in the league. And in a passing league, that's what it comes down to. And I think as a unit, you have to look at them and feel really confident about what they've done and that they can sustain against what is a wide receiver group that I think they actually match up with pretty well. Snead saw Godwin a lot. He allowed, 10 yards on a 50% completion rate in the last meeting. Mike Evans is a really great matchup with Bashad, strength on strength, length on length, right?
Yeah.
The question is, what do they do to manipulate those matchups? And as much as Scotty Miller wants to inject himself into the conversation, I don't think he's going to be a factor. He played, 10 snaps again in the last meeting? And prior to Green Bay, I think he'd been averaging around 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a huge factor. But that is a wrinkle they can put in because he's pretty quick out of his cuts as well and does have some long speed. So there's an option there. But if you have Snead in the slot where he's going to have to line up, I think you can thwart that pretty easily. So it comes back to, as a unit, I think the secondary is functional at a higher rate than what you're going to see outside of a couple of big plays, but the wide receivers in Tampa are going to be able to do.
You said the phrase that I've been a little bit afraid to say out loud this week, which has been that I think the matchup looks pretty good. They match up pretty well. Like I'm not saying it's like over. I'm not saying none of them are gonna catch a pass, but I feel pretty okay. So, big picture here. How are you feeling right now about this game? If I could trouble you for a prediction of some sort, I'd love that. Doesn't need an exact score. People ask me for score predictions all the time. I give different answers every time just by accident. But what's your feel for how this game's going to play out?
Dude, it's Wednesday.
I'm not going to talk to you again tomorrow or Friday.
Well, there's that. Okay. And with 2 weeks off, I have kind of been hard around, and I do have one. I'm one that I'm consistent across what I do. So you hit it on the head. It's not to say they're not going to catch passes. They are. I think Johnson might have a better game than he did last. I think you might see Godwin get a little bit more loose, depending on what they've decided they can dissect, and quite frankly, how they choose to attack the blitz. Because especially if you start to get tired, if you start to give away the fact that you're sending X corner out of the nickel or Tyron from wherever, the replacement factor's there. So I think they are going to get their plays. I think they're going to move the ball well. I'm a little bit more scared of the backs out of the backfield, not known as super pass catchers, but if they decide to put it together and they can be functional in the passing game, that's a distinct advantage. And I do feel that the impetus of the opposing quarterback at 43 years old is a factor. And I think that as much as you can see the Chiefs rally around their leader and raise their game for him, I think you can expect the same from Tampa. So I don't see it being a huge deficit when the game is over. Now, it might be what it was last time, where there's a big lead, and somebody has to come back to make it respectable. I actually think it's going to be tighter than it was last time. Because if you're not having Tyrese do backflips, it should have been a tighter game, right? So I kind of expect the game that I expected the first time. At the end of the day, I think it's a battle, but I think the defense is going to hold its own. I think the number one thing is who wins the turnover battle. If Tyron and it is Tyron against Tom, not Patrick against Tom. And if Tyron wins that battle, they win this game. At the end of the day, I think the Chiefs win 34-31.
That works. I'll take that. That all tracks. It makes me feel good at the end of it when you say, I think the Chiefs win. I'll take it. Ryan, thank you so much for making the time for us tonight. If you want to hear more from Ryan, check out Locked On Chiefs, the podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, just search for Locked On Chiefs. It's everywhere. Plus, the Athletic Matrix will be on its way for this draft season. You can check out RGR Football on YouTube as well. Follow him on Twitter at Ryan Tracy NFL. Ryan is a man with many projects and bylines. I have to ask, did I get everything? Is that everything?
If you hit everything that I can remember, I'm just kidding. So thanks for letting me throw words at you. Okay.
No, thank you for throwing them at us and for throwing them in so many different wonderful directions across all the places that I just mentioned. We'll talk to you again soon, certainly sometime well ahead, a couple of times, Lord willing, ahead of the NFL draft. And I'm looking forward to you just correctly predicting the Chiefs draft picks again this year.
Knock on wood. Do something. Enjoy the game.
I will. You too. And there's a little knock on wood. Ryan Tracy of all those things. Locked On Chiefs, the RGR Football on YouTube, the Athletic Matrix. Follow him on Twitter at Ryan Tracy NFL.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Do you have a frog? A freezing room over the garage? Now that everyone is home, are you looking to convert your frog into an office, a schoolroom, or a comfortable room to escape your family? With no ductwork required, Mitsubishi Electric offers room-by-room air filtration and precise temperature control. Let's help you turn those cold, uncomfortable spaces in your house into a space you and your family will really enjoy. To learn more about Mitsubishi Electric's solutions, visit keepkccool.com today. Now, they can help you whether you need to heat it up or cool it down. Mitsubishi's got you covered. Our biggest problem here in the Sports Radio 810 control room and studio was the heat. We've got a lot of windows and a lot of radio equipment, and our Mitsubishi unit has kept us cool for years. It works like a charm, and it works quickly, and it's whisper quiet. It's been a real game changer for us at Sports Radio 810. Check them out at keepkccool.com. That's keepkccool.com today.
Drive for the win and score huge savings at your Kansas City Acura dealers. As the Chiefs make their playoff push, we're pushing out deals on award-winning Acura SUVs and sedans. For a limited time, score jaw-dropping lease deals and low APR offers on the all-new 2021 TLX sedan and the 2021 RDX crossover SUV. The MVP has arrived. Pre-order the all-new redesigned 3-row 2022 MDX SUV and experience the future of luxury performance. Visit your Kansas City Acura dealers today.
Hey sports fans, Joni here, and I'm excited to tell you about the newly opened In the Zone Cryo. In the Zone Cryo will help decrease pain and inflammation, accelerate muscle recovery, increase your energy, and boost your immune system. In the Zone Cryo also offers Instasculpt fat reduction, personal training, infrared heat, compression therapy, and more. Mention Sports Radio 810 and receive 10% off your first service. Come see us at College and Metcalf. Call 913-208-4859 or visit inthezonecryo.com. Feel, look, and perform your best with In the Zone Cryo.
Hi Chiefs fans, this is Clark Hunt. If you have an urgent orthopedic or sports injury, the University of Kansas Health System is open, safe, and has extended hours to see you quickly. You deserve champion treatment from the experts who treat the Chiefs. Request an appointment at kansashealthsystem.com/sportsmedicine. We're proud that the University of Kansas Health System is the official healthcare provider of the Chiefs.
When the unexpected comes calling, bounce forward with Comcast Business. Bounce forward fast with internet speeds up to a gig. And bounce forward with the flexibility to update your bandwidth in just a few clicks. Get started with a reliable internet and voice solution from Comcast Business, starting at $64.90 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Call or go online today. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 35 megabits per second service and 1 voice line. Early termination fee applies. Equipment installation taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Call for details.
Man, how can you afford gas for that big SUV?
I pay less for gas than everyone else. I got the free Get Upside Gas app and get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas.
Hold on. You're getting up to 25 cents off a gallon with the free Get Upside Gas app while I'm paying full price?
You know it. People earned over $1 million last year. You just got to take a picture of your gas receipt and bam, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back.
You don't have to tell me twice. I'm downloading the free Get Upside Gas app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code LOVE for a 50-cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 75 cents a gallon on your next tank. Just download the free Get Upside app at the App Store or Google Play and use promo code LOVE. Save money on gas on every fill-up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code LOVE. That's LOVE. Visit getupside.com for terms.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
We're going to play Andy Reid sound. It's thoughtful and interesting. Why don't you get turt to that, you damn animals?
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
This time I actually thought that you played the wrong thing, because it sounds so much like one particular Fall Out Boy song. It's like, oh no, that's copyright. No, this is the off-brand version. Thanks again to Ryan Tracy. Please go check out all of his work. Locked On Chiefs is there's a heavy crossover of people who listen to this show and who listen to Locked On Chiefs, I think. But if you enjoy Ryan being on this show, Locked On can be, more straight-laced than our goofy nonsense, but their information, Ryan's information, his breakdown of things, RGR Football on YouTube, it's just great. Like, it will simply make you smarter, as talking to him on this show always does for me. Not by enough, but some. And I'm going to take what I can get. Darth Maul Dad on Twitch said, if the Chiefs win, Beards has to get an arrowhead and plant it into his forehead. Beards, your thoughts?
That doesn't sound very nice.
Would you rather do that or shave your beard?
Or eat a potato.
A mushy potato. Or a vegetable. Would you rather eat a salad, shave your beard, or get an arrowhead and plant it into your forehead? Not pointy side in, to be clear.
You have to pick one. You can't do like the none of them.
Dr. Manhattan Vision style.
That still seems painful.
Got to pick one of them.
Gotta pick one of them.
Well, the salad probably won't result in death.
You don't know that.
The shaving your beard probably won't result in death.
You don't know that.
It could result in you being single. I don't know. Your fiance has definitely never seen your naked face before, which is a weird thing to think about. Isn't that weird?
Pictures.
It's not the same.
When I didn't have a beard.
But you were like 14.
You mean 4?
How long ago did you no longer have a beard? Or not have a beard most recently? Because I've seen one picture.
The last time I was clean shaven was, I think, 2011.
That's a decade, dude. It's 2021. I'm just saying it's kind of crazy to think that
the end of 2011.
Your fiance basically knows you as like wearing the reverse of a Batman mask. Think about that. Makes you think, huh? Batman's mask covers the parts that aren't covered by beard on your face.
It's true.
So you basically have the inverse.
So what you're
of
saying
that.
is I need to get my eyebrows to really grow out.
You got to grow those suckers out like Eugene Levy. That dude's got caterpillars up there. Is it Levy or Levy? I've never been confident enough to say it out loud.
Yes.
Here we are.
I don't know.
That is the comment there from Darth Maul Dad on Twitch is reference to something from the beginning of the show that I just can't help but think about every 7 minutes of my waking life, which is that rapper Lil Uzi Vert had I believe a $24 million pink diamond embedded into his forehead. And the more I say it, the more I really do kind of zigzag back and forth of like.
I don't think I've still seen this picture.
Yeah, just search. I tweeted it. I tweeted it earlier. It's definitely on Twitter. I don't think he's tweeted all of the pictures.
Not small.
It is certainly not. It is bigger than the Infinity Stone on Vision's forehead in the Marvel films.
It's a good inch, at least. You heard me.
He tweeted out a video that just says, "Okay, we good," because the most recent thing we had seen was him with the giant diamond with blood gushing down his nose.
Are we sure we're good?
Here's what I think. Here's where I'm at, and I would love for you guys to just sort of straighten me out on this one. Also, the Suns are getting their teeth kicked in by the Pelicans on national television right now, so I'm in a pretty bad mood.
I just thought about something else, too, about this to add on.
Okay. The, getting like a weird like piercing and stuff, that's a thing. You can get kind of an embedded like little gem, like, at your eyebrow or whatever, instead of getting like an eyebrow ring.
Sure.
You can get it like at your like collarbones and stuff, or like your hip bones. None of these are my particular speed, because I would have to live in constant fear of like snagging something on it, and now my whole week is ruined. But even like if you're gonna get a diamond, like the dude's got like tattoos on his face and forehead, and like even in that spot kind of above just above his eyebrows, If you were like, you know what I'm going to do as a fashion statement, I want you to put a little diamond in there. Be like, all right, that's fine.
No, not a little diamond.
Well, that's what I'm working my way there. But, put a little diamond in there. He tweeted, I don't even know who this is. Do you know who this is, Rudy? It appears to be some other rapper or something who had like a little diamond put in his kind of up by the eyebrow region. I don't either. But like that kind of thing is not completely out of the question. Yeah. Even if it's a huge one, but it's worth like, the same amount as like your watch or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man, you're Lil Uzi Vert. You can literally do whatever you want. The fact that he is going to live his life, he's going to sit on the toilet and poop with a $24 million diamond in his forehead.
Is that how much it's worth?
Yes. Yes. He's going to shower as water. Better have a plug in the drain in case that sucker falls out.
So
he says it is insured, by the way, which is at least that's smart.
Expanding off that, like, you realize, like, people are going to try to rip that off his head, right?
Yes.
Like,
this dude's going to get mugged by Thanos.
Because here's the thing. Like in general, if you're rich, famous, you have people know you have money, you're obviously at a higher risk of being mugged at some point in your life, right? Because the thought is that person has something valuable on them. They don't normally got $24 million on them.
Oh, right there.
But Lil Uzi Vert does.
Now I will say though, it's going to be very difficult if somebody does steal that to then sell that. It's like you walk into a pawn shop or whatever. Where'd you get this? Oh, it was just laying on the street. I didn't do anything. And then they just look over and see the TV on the news. It's like, forehead diamond stolen.
Understandable, but you don't sell $24 million diamonds at a pawn shop.
At a pawn shop, fair enough, I guess.
I think the place where you would sell a $24 million diamond, they don't really care where you got that diamond from. They're just like, hey, yeah, sure. Give you 15 for it right now.
Give you $5.
I know this is pretty on brand, but part of me really, really, really wants to like it. And if he had a $24 million ring on with that diamond as like the centerpiece of it, it would be it would be insane, but I'd be like, okay.
I also think he'd be crazier. That'd
Who
be
was
easier
it that
to get off.
But it's embedded into his forehead.
Who was it that had the necklace of himself wearing a necklace?
I don't know. That sounds great though.
But it was something ridiculously pricey like that as well, I remember.
It's just
that's at least semi-normal.
It also looks like it's not having an awesome time being in his forehead at the moment.
No,
it looks a little grody around there.
It's not. I don't think it's fully secured. I don't think it's completely snug.
Take
on
time
that
to
head.
heal for the skin to grow back around that.
Don't move the camera, Beards. Here's a little visual. No, go back to Rudy's.
Sorry.
There's a little visual. Like it looks.
Oh, hang on. I can put this on screen.
No, don't. I'd rather you didn't. Just don't, actually. If people want to Google it, they can. I've forced them to look at it once now. It looks like I imagine Goliath looked 7 seconds after being hit by the first rock.
That's such a good image.
It's just crazy.
That is such a good pull.
And by crazy, I don't mean like insane. I mean like it's crazy.
No, it's legitimately crazy.
It's just crazy. It's just wild.
Yeah. I mean, a diamond in your forehead's pretty crazy. A $24 million diamond in your forehead is bleepy.
Do they have a
insane.
store for that where you're just looking through trying to pick which one you want?
He said he's been saving up for this diamond for like 4 or 5 years.
So he's had this plan.
Yes, absolutely. Which at the very least, good on him there, because that's not something you want to do.
Not an impulse buy.
Yeah, that's exactly
so
right.
Lil Uzi Vert basically bought a diamond for his forehead, essentially like the way I bought a Switch. Like this was a long-term saving up project / investment.
Yes.
Good to know.
I was paying. I just finished. I was
Switch is a good
paying
buy.
millions since 2017. He said.
Got that Animal Crossing Switch by now if I had that. Where'd Lil Uzi Vert living these days? I'm looking for a new diamond.
It's just a lot. It's just aggressive. Here's another story in a similar vein. Did you guys see the new big celebrity boxing match that's coming? It does not involve a Paul brother.
Yes.
Maybe?
Lamar Odom.
It is Lamar Odom.
Okay, not this one.
Versus Aaron Carter.
Whoa.
He's going for the back-to-back. He's going Shaq and Lamar Odom.
Huh.
who, by the way, Aaron Carter, has face tattoos now.
Oh.
Didn't see that one coming. Just a curveball I wasn't ready for.
Fun fact, my first concert ever.
I think I knew this.
Again, I like to say my first concert was Boys Like Girls because it was the first concert that I chose to go to, that I wanted to go to. But the first concert I ever went to, I was dragged to. I think it was my sister's birthday. It was for my sister. But obviously, as a child, my mom couldn't leave me home alone.
Yeah.
It was an Aaron Carter concert.
What year would you say?
Oh, man.
Height of Aaron Carter mania?
2001, maybe? Might have been 2000 on the dot. I was probably between the ages of 9 and 11. Seems right. What was Aaron?
By the way, Aaron Carter's giving up 10 inches of height in this matchup.
Got a face tattoo,
honestly, the fact that he's
10 inches of height?
Odom 6'10", Aaron Carter is 6 foot.
The fact that he's even 6 foot tall is like a little surprising to me, but good for him.
Listen, Odom's got the reach, and Aaron Carter's got face tattoos.
Yeah, so...
Toss up.
I would have seen him at some point between 2000 and 2002.
Height of Aaron Carter mania. Yeah. Here's how tonight's show is gone. We're not going to hear Rudy's Rob Manfred story until tomorrow. That's how tonight's show is gone. Let's take a break. Whenever we come back, I've got 45 clips of audio and a Rob Manfred story from Rudy. Will we get to any of them next segment? Let's find out.
At JB Brisco, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
Hey, Kansas City, this is Steven St. John. Are you still looking for a great Valentine gift for your special someone? Then give her the next best thing to wearing nothing at all with soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas available exclusively from our friends at Pajamagram.com. Sensuous and smooth, naturally nude pajamas feel just like her own soft skin. She'll love slipping these on every night all year round because the texture and touch of naturally nude pajamas is so soft and luxurious, they'll melt away her stress. She'll love the feeling of wearing next to nothing at all, and you'll love the way they look. I know I love the way they look. Check them out at Pajamagram.com. And best of all, every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging, which means you don't have to wrap a thing. So get her naturally nude pajamas and get your free gift packaging today. Just go to Pajamagram.com. It's fast and it's easy, and delivery by Valentine's Day is guaranteed. That's Pajamagram.com. And please tell them Steven St. John sent you.
Get your Valentine something special this year, the best version of you. Call the Kansas City Men's Clinic today for their $49 Valentine's Day special. Don't let erectile dysfunction stop you. Be the man you know you can be and take action now. Call the Kansas City Men's Clinic at 816-608-8189. That's 816-608-8189 and schedule your private consultation for only $49. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 55 is coming to America's largest all-sports radio station. Sports Radio 810, WHB.
The road to repeat for Kansas City will run through Tampa.
As the Chiefs get set to run it back. Follow all the action right here on your home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. Sports Radio 810, WHB.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm attorney Mike Golic. After a car wreck, the last thing you want to do is trust the insurance company. These insurance companies try to rip off good people every single day. My law firm won't let you get ripped off. We'll fight to get you all the money you deserve, and you don't pay us a dime unless we win your case. If you've been hurt, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this. All you need to know, 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
With its dedication to bringing wellness to Kansas City, CBD American Shaman is excited to announce the opening of Shaman's Leawood Total Wellness at 117th and Row in Leawood, offering primary care, family medicine, hormone replacement therapy, medical weight loss, medical aesthetics, and IV nutrient therapy. Stop by today to see everything they have to offer, including a full-service CBD American Shaman store. Start your journey at LeawoodTotalWellness.com. Life is better with the feather.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to babbel.com today. That's BABBEL.com.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco
We have 18 minutes left, and we haven't actually talked about anything.
on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I resent that liner being used there because we've actually talked about a lot today. Mike Golic was on with us, Scott Graham was on with us, and we've learned a lot about beards. Also, I am absolutely killing a visual joke in an audio medium right now.
Very good.
For anyone who's watching this show at nearly 11 o'clock on our Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch streams.
Thank you for watching.
You guys are our favorites. We won't say that to anyone. Oh, God, everyone heard me say that? Oh, well. A couple of updates here. I know that this... I can't move my head. All right, I'm going to, just for everyone who's just listening and not going to watch the show, right before we came back from break, I got some Scotch tape and taped a little thing of Carmex to my forehead.
This is the second time you've had tape on your face while doing the show.
It certainly is. It certainly is. Also, I had something I hadn't thought about. Obviously, I'm concerned about this falling out in a way that Lil Uzi Vert is theoretically not worried about that diamond falling out.
I'm assuming he's using Gorilla Tape.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Or like super glue at least.
Yeah.
I'm worried just sort of physically about it falling off, but that's something, like, it does feel, it's stuck, but it feels weird. I don't like how it feels there. And it's not even worth $24 million.
It's only worth 23.
I was gonna do the show until it falls off, I guess. The Suns are about to lose to the Pelicans by 22 points on national television. Thank you, Phoenix.
Hate to see it.
Phoenixes. So I know a lot of this show's been about Beards' weird eating habits, which means that it's been a good show, but I've got some scary news for you, Beards. I want you to just keep track of both of these things. One, Ali Trost of this very radio station tweeted that, this simply cannot be true. Seth Kaiser, a frequent guest of this show, tweeted, Ali, we're fighting Beers McFly next time I'm in town. Rudy's already down. Are you in? Ali said, I'll make us matching jackets. Seth said that he is much more excited by this prospect than he has any right to be. It sounds like there may be like a leather-jacketed motorcycle gang ready to beat you up for your never eating mashed potatoes, baked potatoes, or burnt ends.
Think a little bit more like the scene in Anchorman where they fight. So it's like a group of four. So it's me, Ali, Seth, and we're still looking for a fourth. Josh.
I've only seen bits of Anchorman.
I'm not on Beards' side. Here's the scary thing, though, Beards. 4. Really quick, can you think of one person, a regular guest on this show, who would be on your side for some of this stuff? The second pickiest eater in the Almost Entirely universe?
I have one.
It's
idea.
The Reverend.
Yeah.
The Reverend Matt Derrick has also historically kind of been outed himself as a picky eater. Not quite to your extent, but he's a very picky eater. In response to the potato thing, he responded with a gif from Schitt's Creek of David saying, "What the actual bleep?" in a bit of a disgust sort of tone.
Yes.
You lost Matt Derrick, Beards. How do you feel about this?
I only have like 5 seconds left. Can't say anything.
You could have said something else in those 5 seconds. We'll do better tomorrow. Bye, Mom.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Dutch Boy's new Platinum Plus paint with Stain Shield technology has the performance you expect from a luxury paint at a price you didn't. Platinum Plus is up to 50% more wash